From Chennai, we move to Indonesia. We're at the Sentul International Circuit for the 5th round of 6 in this season's Idemitsu Asia Road Racing Championships. Hello, welcome along to a warm, sultry afternoon here in Sentul. We're just a little bit to the south of Jakarta. And we've got 3 races coming up for you today and another 3 tomorrow. We're starting with the Underbone 150cc, then we're on to the 250 Championship, and then the Supersport 600s, and that's repeated tomorrow. Barry Russell, I'm delighted to say, joins me in the commentary box today. And Barry, the Underbones, it's a very Asian experience. You've traveled the world, and it really is a unique experience when we see these Underbone fellas flying around these international circuits.
It is, absolutely. And earlier in the season, in round 2, we had the Underbones. The ARRC went to Australia for the very first time and picked up a fair few 100,000 new fans of Underbone racing. We know that people in MotoGP watch Underbone racing. It's got a real cult following.
I think sometimes we forget about it because the Underbone bikes themselves are so proliferate around the cities of Southeast Asia. We assume it's normal, but it's not. And to see them going around the racing tracks is fantastic. Let's get onto the grid. And Haziq Farus, he's done well in the Super Pole, 8th only in qualification, but he's got himself up into pole. How much of a difference does it make in the Underbones?
Not too much. There's 1.5 seconds, I noticed, between Haziq in first and Elson Effendi in 23rd position on the grid. So it's all down to racecraft when it comes to it.
Nonetheless, you prefer to be first than last. Here is the championship leader, Helmi Azman. He can theoretically win the title this weekend, the teenager from Malaysia.
Yeah, in this most competitive of classes where we see people coming in and out of the podium positions, Helmi's the one that's really stuck with it. He did have a DNF in Australia, but his consistency means that he does, as you say, have a mathematical chance of clinching the title.
Now, we've got a number of wild cards entering today, predominantly Indonesian. Gives them a chance to ride in front of their home fans, maybe attract 1 or 2 sponsors. And Juan Manuel, being on the front row of the grid, he's already made a point this weekend.
He sure has. He was quick all the way through free practice as well. So he's looking to get amongst it and spoil some of the ambitions of the regular riders.
Onto the second row of the grid, and this is the Orbit SND CNC Sporting Team, the Honda of Agung Fakhrul.
Yeah, another wild card who has done extremely well and got amongst the regulars.
And alongside him on the second row of the grid, a far more familiar face for those of you who do follow the series, Malaysia's Amrul Arif Musa on the UZ Honda Vietnam racing team, but very much a Malaysian, Amrul Arif.
Very much a Malaysian in a Vietnam-supported team, so it's good to see that name and that country represented this far up the grid.
He's been around quite some time, 28 years of age now, veterans in the Underbones, but he's still giving it his all. Next to him is another guy whose name is very familiar, Gupita Krishna, former champion in the Yamaha Yamalup team from Indonesia. He completes the second row of the grid. I'm not quite sure we're going to see Gupita Krishna. Yes, we are.
Yeah, he took the 2014 and 2015 titles in Underbones. This year he came back after a little excursion in 250s, and he's been first 2 rounds not so much. He came into his own in Japan, taking a win there, and he's looking to go very strongly today.
Indonesians and Malaysians dominating the front 2 rows of the grid, but Pitapong Lu Boinpeng for Team One for All on Thailand on the 3rd row of the grid.
Yep, he scored a podium in India too, and he's running alongside Effendi Rosley in the All for One team.
We'll run through the grid, the starters and the runners and the riders as long as we can until we're kicked off the racetrack itself. This is Reza Falevi, another Indonesian for the Yusa Jaya Race Tech, and then alongside him, completing that 3rd row of the grid, is Izzat Zaidi. I wanted us to get to him. In fact, we can get to Izzat Zaidi. This is the guy who's 2nd in the championship standings. He's the only one who can stop Helmi Azman going and taking the title.
Yes, he is. He's another race winner this season. He hasn't got Helmi's consistency, which is why he's 2nd in the championship.
Moving beyond Izzat Zaidi, Effendi Rosley. another veteran, 32 years young now, Effendi Rosley. He's one who's been around the scene quite some time. 6th in the current championship standings. No podium so far this season. And alongside him, Rusman Fadil. Again, for those who follow the series, these are familiar names, and we love to have the leaders, but there's great competition in the underbones, and the likes of Rusman Fadil from Indonesia on the Yamaha, he provides that depth of competition in this underbone 150.
Absolutely, and yeah, there he is, Fakruzi Roston. He's one of the fastest riders you would ever expect on with somebody his stature on a bike this small.
A big fella.
Tall fella.
Yes. They're normally, when you pass them in the race lanes, you actually look down and say, wow, okay, these fellas, I understand why they can go so quickly, because there's nothing to them really. It's mainly machine, and when a tall fella suddenly stands out, he does stand out.
Well, he's nice and bendy, so he folds himself onto that bike and makes it work.
Okay, so these are the starters for the Underbone 150cc. We're in race 5 of the season. We've been to Buriram in Thailand, Australia, Japan, Chennai in India, now here in Sentul. We'll finish in the first week of December in Buriram once again, when the championships will be decided. Helmi Asman starting number 2 on the grid, he's the man who'll really want to just try to put this to bed. He might not win the title this week or this weekend, but he will give it a really good go. Further down, we do have competitors from Vietnam, Le Con Loc, who's 25th on the grid, and Mio Nakahara, the only woman on the grid. She didn't post a fast enough qualifying time, but she is on the grid, and you've seen Mio Nakahara race quite a bit, Barry.
Yeah, I've seen her race in the Asia Cup series, where she's gone to brand new circuits and blown the competition away. She's a very quick rider. She hasn't quite put it together yet in this class, but she's definitely got the quality.
Here is the grid. Helmi, Amol Arakusa and Agon Farrell on the front row. Reza Falevi, Gavita Krishna and Adib Rosley on the second row. On the third, Pirapong is alongside Rizal Faisal and Izzat Zaidi. Looking forward to see what Izzat Zaidi is capable of doing. This isn't how they qualified in terms of qualification, but the Super Pole tells us it's unique for the 150cc. On to row 4. I can see Effendi Rosley, Rusman Fadil and Fakruzi. And then further down, the riders that we didn't really get to see. Adib Rosley, Sharul Amin from Indonesia, and Akid Aziz, who's another one who's 5th in the championship standings. So you're quite lucky that the pole position doesn't really count that much, because we'll find in Underbone, Barry, that the riders do come together and they ride in big groups, almost pods, and then it comes to mayhem when it comes to the big corners.
Yeah, it does, absolutely. I think of it as a peloton kind of approach that these riders take, and it just depends who can get into the leading group and stay there.
And down onto row 9, we mentioned Mio Nakahara from the United Oil Enmei Racing Team on the Yamaha. She's in 26th place. Lakan Lok and Shafiq Ayman are in the last row. It's 12 corners. Talk to me just a little bit about the track and how the riders might approach it. It's a bumpy surface, but a challenging surface and a good test for them.
Yeah, it is challenging. In a championship, you need a variety of circuits, and this throws up its own unique challenges. It is bumpy in places. It's a 25-year-old circuit, and there are fast sections where we see a lot of slipstreaming and overtaking into the corners. It has a fearsomely fast turn 2, and then on the back section it gets more technical, and then it leads on to finally 2 corners that turn into one really long right-hander before they come back onto the start-finish straight.
It's not all about the riders, of course. The teams, they've been working hard. They've been here on this track practicing 3 practice sessions and qualification, and the Super Pole took place earlier on today. As the back markers make their way finally into position. Mio Nakahara will be the last one. She's on bike number 81. Can Loc from Vietnam on bike number 17. All eyes up on the screens. And our eyes very much focused on Helmi Asman, the championship leader, will be starting in 2nd place on the grid. When the red flags go out and all the riders are in place, you'll see the lights emerge, and then when they go out, we will be underway. Underbone 150cc, race number 1 of 2 this weekend. Oh, we've already got a problem. One non-starter, one certainly going to have to go from the pit lane.
I think that's one of the UMA Yamaha machines.
So the red lights go out and we are underway, and it's a solid start for the 3 on pole. Haziq, Helmi and Wawan, they will start in 1, 2, 3. And it's Haziq Farus and the Yuma Racing Yamaha team who will take the lead coming into the right as they head down into this fast left-hand first corner. And rather unusually, there's a little bit of distance has emerged in this early corner as Haziq, under pressure from Helmi Asman, they've got away nice and quickly, and so there's no early bunching up, Barry.
No, they will try to make a break. I don't think it'll prove to be successful. And that's why Aji Trilaksana, Indonesian hero, the 2016 champion, he's had a disappointing weekend. He qualified 18th and now he's sidelined in pit lane.
Well, he went out on the warm-up lap, which is never a good thing, and he hasn't even got started yet, so even if he does start, he'll be starting half a lap down. Haziq Farus is still leading the way, the teenager from Malaysia, Helmi Asman, going through on the inside. It's Honda 1 and 3.
Yeah, nice orderly first lap so far.
It's very unusual to see this kind of procession.
Well, they're all in a line as well. They're all in a row.
Haziq had a look on the inside as they come around the sharp right-hand corner, and then looking to the whoopee left. And they come down into the 2 right-hand corners, turn 10 and 11, which will bring us back into the home straight. And it is Haziq Farus who leads the way. It's a long double right-hand corner. No chaos at the moment. We have got some wonderful circuits where chaos is guaranteed. Lovely soft focus from our cameraman there on their A-game. Hopefully the Underbone guys on the A-game as well. As we go through at the end of lap 1, it will be Haziq who has the lead. Helmi Asman and Wawan already there in 1, 2, 3, and Agung in 4. In fact, it's as it was on the pole.
Yep, there's been nothing there between the first 10 riders across the line, and it's likely to stay that way. Nobody's got a real chance of getting away as yet.
Being pushed a little bit wide there for the first time. There was a bit of a grouping of the riders. It's a wide track, so getting out.
Fanning out now, having a little bit of a rehearsal perhaps for later.
Helmi Asman and Wawan Wello looking to just up the pace a little bit, but as we expected, they're bunching a little bit, and Haziq has actually gone back into, we'll use your word, peloton, because I think it is good. Agung Farrell is the man who's leading at the moment, bike 132.
Yeah, he's just taking a break in the peloton, if we continue to use that metaphor, and a little bump there with the bike in front of him. I think that was one of the wild cards. He just nudged the back of.
Peter Krejna. He's got the best lap so far. The official stats, it was Haziq Farus who led at the end of the first lap, but Haziq has now been sucked back into that little group.
Yeah, and that's the wild card, Wawan Wello, I think. He's just slipped back to 3rd.
Yeah, Wawan's bike number 38 to help you. Helmi is 32, and Agung Farrell, they're the front 3, all wearing yellow, very unhelpfully. Soft focus once again, tell you what, main straight man has really got his eyes together today, and it is Wawan who leads as they come over the start-finish line for the 2nd time. Agung Farrell, Gupita Krejna, Shaul and Wawan almost all together as they go across the line. There is, gosh, I'm just looking at it, barely 0.5 of a second between them.
Yeah, that's what we expected to see. They go through that very fast turn 2. We've got
Haziq's got himself back into that group.
back up to the front. He had a little breather. Now he's back.
Do the riders do that? Do they sit back and say, okay, I've been out in front, now let's just join the pack, settle down, get my heart levels back down to something approaching normal?
Yeah, you can do that, and it's also an opportunity just to have a look at what the riders are doing and which lines the different riders are taking.
32, taking the lead for the first time is Helmi Asman.
Yep, he'll be playing it nice and cool. He was second in qualifying, as we know. He was fastest consistently in free practice on Friday, so he's got very good pace.
Helmi can win the title this weekend if he gets a couple of back-to-back wins. It'll make him very difficult to stop. He's had a stellar season, Helmi Asman. You look at his record, he's got 2 firsts, 3 seconds.
Absolutely right. And not only that, but you've got so many strong wild cards here that they could, if Helmi wins, and they could get in the way between Helmi and the other main championship contenders.
Well, on that occasion, Helmi took an inside line. He was rejoining the back as they come into the home straight around that swooping right-hand corner. This is the end of lap number 3. And as they go through, it's lap number 152 of Agon Farrell, who is leading the way.
Yep, he looked very good in qualifying and in Super Pole 2. A new rider to this series, but clearly not a new rider to Central International Circuit.
And our friend Haziq back in the reckoning once again. They are just mixing it up a little bit, those front 5 behind them. There's no real movement there either. It's very unusual. There isn't a lot of movement. There is amongst the small individual groups as we see Haziq take the lead as they come into this sharp right-hand corner once again. In fact, Haziq gets the inside line and he will go through, and it looks like he's enjoying leading, Haziq, at this stage.
Yeah, he looks comfortable in front. He's had a look behind, and now he's back at the front. And I can see the All For One Yamahas moving into the mix. That bright orange bike is near the front is a Fendi Rosley, and number 24, Pirapong Louis Bumping is somewhere in that mix too.
Slight miscalculation, just hitting the dirt in a bit of a correction now. Helmi Asman and 152 Agon Farrell from the Orbit Sporting Team from Indonesia. So it's Indonesia and Malaysia, with Haziq becoming the second in Malaysia in that little group. I can get those nationalities mixed up. They could get very, very defensive. So Haziq in the lead once again.
Yep, he is, and in this class more than the other two, the AP250s and another wobble there.
Yeah, we saw a wobble. That's a couple that we've seen there from, is it Helmi or Agon Farrell?
I think that was Farrell who had a little shake there, but he's recovered from it.
Haziq in the lead.
And just Agung as they cross the line. But not that matters, because 900 metres later they're going to be into the first turn.
So Agon Farrell led by the width of a wheel, effectively. Ahead of Haziq, Wawan Wello is still in there. Gupita Krishna, we've not really mentioned Gupita on the Yamaha. He's hanging in there as well in 4th place.
Yeah, he will do his SND factory team. Missed the last round at India completely because of visa issues with the team. So he's got ground to make up. He started to hit his form in round 3 at Suzuka, and he needs to get back in contention now.
We saw a little shot there, the fastest lap from Muzakir, who's nowhere near the front end, but he's leading a little group behind.
There's quality all the way through this group.
Murabil, sorry, Muzakir's in a different category. Murabil Fatoni in the Yamaha from Indonesia, posting a lap just ahead of 150, which is approaching 133 kilometers per hour.
Yep, and they're back into the lead, number 152.
Agon Farrell. The livery is not exactly helping us, the yellow liveries. We ought to get a splash of paint on one or two of these goes, although the helmets make it a little bit easy, as Helmi Asman has a look on the inside, also having a little look. Pirapong, is he making a move as well, as Haziq is in the mix as well?
Yeah, Pirapong's coming through towards the front of that group.
And Gupita Krishna, now then, there was almost a little bit of contact there, a correction required from Gupita Krishna, as they are using the full width of the track.
Yeah, Gupita Krishna's got his swagger back. You could see it in Japan. You can see it again now. Saw it in Super Pole this morning. He looks confident.
Rusman Fadil, best time 150.344, his fastest lap. Our fastest lap so far, a 149.943 from Akid Aziz. Again, interesting use of the full width of the track. It does throw up a little bit of dirt occasionally, this track, and so if you can get a bit of clear track, it can help. It didn't particularly help on that occasion for Wawan Wello.
No, the problem is, of course, you've got a bit more dirt on the outside, so what he gained in being able to use that extra track, he probably lost a bit on the grip.
As he has a look on the inside. We're approaching the midpoint. We've got 4.5 laps to go. Haziq Farus, the young Malaysian from UR Racing Yamaha team.
Yep, he's certainly justifying his pole position.
Leading the way, it is a procession. It can often be an awful lot more bunched up than this. Not here, though. The riders being very disciplined as well, and there's no particular corner here that will cause them to bunch up.
No, when we get to the last lap, you'll see a lot more fanning out, of course. But for now, they are all experienced riders, even the younger ones that are sort of 20-ish. They've been around Underbone racing for a while, and we have got lads here in their late 20s and through to age 36.
36 indeed, yes.
In two cases, Effendi and Rostam.
Haziq led as they went over the line, but was swallowed up. Agung leads, Haziq, Wawan in third, Gupita fourth, Helmi Azman in fifth. Amrul Arif Musa, we've not mentioned, is up into sixth place. And Rusman Fadil also making a move there. Back number 270 into seventh. Izzat Zaidi hasn't made a move yet, but you can see how bunched up they are. Any one of that first, first 10 or 12 riders is still in with a shout here, Barry Russell.
Yeah, and we do see Izzat often comes through late in the race. I know I've had a few where did he come from moments during the season, so he could well do it again. He's due another good result, and he's in a position to do that right now.
Turn 4 with the Dunlop corner, into turn 5, a fast left-hander, until they come down to 6 and 7, which is the 7 is the first of the two Idemitsu sponsored corners.
Yeah, all the way through so far, you've seen Agung, Haziq, Wawan, Gupita, Helmi Azman. They've been consistently at the front of that front group. So they're comfortable with their pace. It's just a case of whether the guys behind them are not quite on the pace or whether they're just waiting.
I'm very aware of you saying about Izzat Zaidi, because Izzat has got to make a move in terms of the overall championships.
Yeah, a little gap appearing there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pans out. Yeah, 5. Few bike lengths ahead of the second group. And 4 of them are yellow.
Yes. In terms of the overall championship standings, we need to tell you Helmi Azman, back number 32, leads with 134 points. Izzat Zaidi, 111. Third place is Ahmed Fazli Sham, who is another we've not really mentioned, and he's very capable of giving us 1 or 2 of those moments. We've got one rider popping out there.
Yeah, it's a mechanical failure. You can't see who that is from here.
Leading the way, though, Agung Farrell. And Haziq in there as well.
Haziq again just slipped in front of him there. And
Wawan also in there. The wildcards, it really does upset the apple cart, the wildcards, because they can pick up points, but what it does, it confuses the overall championship standings if they're only appearing for the 2 races.
It does, and it could play into the hands of Helmi Azman.
Indeed, indeed. If he picks up points and Izzat Zaidi doesn't, then as we say, it could be all over. After this race, 75 points still to ride for. Now then, Haziq seems to have dropped out of the reckoning there. Amrul Arif Musa has made a move upwards. As we look at the Uno Racing, the back of the team, One for All. Was that Pirapong?
No, I think that...
We'll come back and discuss that in a second. Agung Farrell leading the way for Orbit SND Racing.
Yeah, great for that team to see themselves on the big stage here.
out into the countryside. We are just south of Jakarta in Bogor at the Sentul International Circuit. And racing through bike number 32, Helmi Asman. He's the man who's leading. Come to that double right-hand corner into the home straight. After this, it'll be 2 laps to go. 152 leads, which is Agung Farrell. All eyes on the boards.
Yep, Agung Farrell, he's been there more at the front more than any other rider so far.
And Wawan Wello is alongside him, the Indonesian.
Oh, and there was contact there. I think that was maybe Helmi that just touched him from behind.
Luckily, no damage was done.
No, just a slight out of the seat moment, but everything settled down. He hasn't really lost any ground from that.
Interesting that they're now using the full width of the circuit. Now they're bunching up. We've been avoiding this for the most part, but look at that. They're all coming together, making a little bit of space somehow as they sweep into that double right-hand corner.
Yeah, I was trying to count how many riders in that group. It could be as many as 11 or 12, I think.
And so keeping out of trouble is every bit part of the agenda. Agung Farrell is leading the way. Just to confuse us, it's 5 bikes with the yellow liveries. Got to keep an eye on the helmet colours. Haziq has dropped into the middle of that pack. He's now in 6th place. Haziq Fairuz been swallowed up by the pack. So Agung, Wawan, Helmi, Gupita, Reza, Amrul Arif Musa. Haziq drops down, as we said. Izzat Zaidi also in that little group of 10.
Yeah, he's at the back of the group now. Let's see what he's got up his sleeve.
Well, has he just been holding things in check? Again, full width of the track, and it's going to be Agung Farrell who turn in first. Wawan also there. Wawan is bike 38, Helmi bike 32. Helmi's the man we really need to be keeping an eye on, because in the overall championship, he's the man who's had such a terrific season, literally leading the way.
Yep, he's earned his championship lead right from the first round.
Agung it is who leads. Helmi in 2nd place. Amrul Arif Musa has made a move into 3rd. And Gupita Krishna is there. We are on the final lap, and we're still no closer to know who's going to win this one, because they've bunched up lap by lap by lap, and it's getting closer and closer. Agung Farrell under intense pressure from those riders behind him.
Yeah, he was very fast through turn 2 just now. But I suspect the rest of them are going to catch him as they come into the more twisty technical part of the circuit.
Haziq was pushed quite wide there. He's having to go a long way around the Dumlock corner, which is corner 4 of 12. We're 1/3 of the way through the final stanza, and it is still Agung Farrell who leads the way in the Honda. But this quick left-hand turn means that he gets swallowed up. Haziq makes a move in the purple livery, but again, look at him, he's swallowed up and is still in 7th place. This is anybody's race. A little bit of contact as they move through. Wawan Wello.
And there's a rider down.
There was bound to be contact. It wasn't one of the race leaders, though. As they come in 152, Agung Farrell still leads. This is the final lap of the Underbone 150cc at the Sentul International Circuit. Best lap of 150.529, and he's still leading the way. He's still controlling it, turning into the right-hand corner. Agung Farrell, can he keep the right line? If he holds the line, Agung Farrell will take the victory. He has timed this absolutely perfectly. The Idemitsu corner is there. And he crosses the finishing line in first, and there's a nasty smash. 2 riders coming off as they go over the start-finish line. Agung Farrell will get the victory, but we must have a...
Yeah, that was a clever move by Helmi. He stayed there all the way through. We'll have to have another look at that crash. That looked really nasty. It might have been Andy Brosley on the red bike that went off. Let's hope everybody's okay.
The victory, though, will go to Agung Farrell. Helmi Asman, I believe, 2nd. Gupita Krishna 3rd. Amrul Arif Musa 4th, and Izzat Zaidi 5th. Sharrell getting 6th. Wawan pushed down to 7th. And just looking at that, was it Haziq? who was taken out. Haziq, who had such a fabulous ride, was in the front leading group for so long. We'll sort out that mayhem as soon as we can, Barry Russell. But let's focus firstly on the winner. And Agung was always in that leading group.
Yeah, he was. He was at the front more than any other rider. That was a superb race against international level competition. Thoroughly deserved win. Let's see if he can rinse and repeat tomorrow. Helmi Asman played it very clever, kept out of trouble. The marshal's looking now at the debris on the start-finish straight.
Let's get a confirmation of the result. Agung Farrell, bike 152, 18:31.642 on the Honda for Indonesia. Helmi Asman picks up 20 points. Gupita Krishna always does well here at Sentul. Amrul Arif Musa for Malaysia and Izzat Zaidi make it 3 Malaysians in the top 5. Sharul Amin Wawanwelo. Ahmed Fazli Sham came from nowhere to finish up in the points. Rizman Fadil 9th and Munabil Fatuni, who had a fast lap coming into the top 10. A little bit further down, Pirapong from Thailand, the best of the Thais in 12th. Travis Hall, we didn't mention much in commentary. He was a long way down in 18th. Haziq Farus, look at that. He was in that leading pack for so long by Russell, finishes in 17th place.
Yeah, he had a coming together on that last lap that took him out of contention.
Further down, Miyu Nakahara getting ahead of Wayu Aji Trilaksana, who had real problems that did not finish for Wayu Aji Trilaksana. Ilham Elson, Akid Aziz, that's disappointing for Akid. And Lakan Lok, he'll be very happy with that. The Vietnamese doesn't pick up points, but a place just outside the top 20. A good return for the young Vietnamese.
Yeah, disappointing for Akid, whose season as the defending champion hasn't gone as well as it could have done. I think that was him we saw in the garage, in the UMA Yamaha garage.
Wheeling has... We're Wheeling, our trackside reporter is trying to get some interviews. We'll be down with her in just a minute, but firstly, the joy of the victory. And he was there right at the front. Agung Farrell, 4th place in the Super Pole, and he was always in the leading riders.
Yeah, he sure knows his way around Sentul circuit, but what he's done today is show his quality against international competition, the best riders of this class in the world.
And Helmi Asman picks up another podium, 2nd place for Helmi.
Clever ride from him all the way, kept himself clear.
We haven't heard too much about what happened on the finishing line at the end. We've heard no reports of injuries, and the debris of the tracks was cleared up very quickly. Maybe we'll find a little bit more about that. Firstly, though, let's go and focus on the winners, and we can go down to Wheeling, who is at the pit lane area.
From race 1, Gupita Krishna. You guys, SND Racing, were in the front all the way throughout. Was it a team strategy to try to stay in front throughout race 1?
Ya, pertama-tama saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada tim SND Indonesia dan Yamaha Indonesia sudah mensupport saya. Dan di seri 5 di home race ini, saya melakukan setting motor yang semaksimal mungkin. Tentang race ini tadi, saya mencoba untuk mengikuti ritme depannya. Terus saya di last lap mencoba untuk nge-push. Syukur alhamdulillah saya masih bisa menjadi yang nomor 3.
Thank you so much, Gupita. Congratulations. So what he said was that he tried to get the best bike setting for the race, and thankfully he was able to stay with the front group throughout the race. And on the final lap, he made a final last push, and he's happy with his 3rd place finish. Coming in 2nd place today on the grid. 2nd place today in race 1 is Muhammad Helmi Asman. So Helmi, congratulations. Getting a podium finish here. Obviously not the easiest of tasks going up against all these Indonesian riders.
Okay, firstly I want to say syukur alhamdulillah and thanks to my team and family and friends for support. Yes, this race very fight for me, and the Indonesia rider or the rider so difficult to fight, but I'm trying to consistent to my place because I'm already championship leader, so I'm thinking for my point. Yeah, so I'm happy for this podium.
Congratulations, Helmi. And coming in first place today is one of the wildcats that is able to join us here this weekend. M. Agong Faro, congratulations on winning of your first race here in the Underbone class. Share with us, how was the race?
Yes, Alhamdulillah, I am so very happy for first set in Asia Road Racing Championship. I want to say Alhamdulillah, thanks my team for giving me the best bike. And I want to say Alhamdulillah, thank you for all support for me.
Congratulations, Agong, on winning race 1. And stay tuned, guys, for the podium ceremony.
Okay, thank you, Hui Ling. We'll be hearing from her quite regularly as we go throughout the afternoon. We've still got 2 races to come. But firstly, let's just recap the best of the action that we've just seen in that Underbone 150. And Barry Russell alongside me in the commentary box. It was a little bit of an unusual race for Underbone in that there wasn't as much jockeying for position as we normally see. There was in amongst the front 5 or 6 riders, but those who started at the front of the grid stayed there at the end.
Yeah, they did. Partly it's maybe a function of it being later in the season now, more points at stake. And of course, Helmi played it very well. He's now on 154 points, having added 20. Here comes the race.
Well, it started really well for Hazik Farus. Hazik in the purple livery and the white helmet. He was one of the leaders who took us through. And then the 4 yellow clad you had amongst that Agong Farrell and Helmi Asman. And these just jockeyed around and they looked very comfortable. Nobody taking too many risks. Are they wary of the track perhaps a little bit, Barry?
A little bit wary of the track and the fact that there's little or nothing to gain in the early laps from taking any big risks.
Again, there's not a vast amount of jockeying. It did change, and unusually they all use the full width of the track. Hazik there as they go through the start-finishing line. On this occasion, I think it was at the end of lap 4 where he was in the lead. But interestingly, he was swallowed up. He didn't really seem to have the straight line speed that he needed to maintain the lead.
The first half of the lap, he looked pretty comfortable, but then he did slip back and had a problem on the last lap that we'll probably see in a few moments.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to examine what happened as they all went over the finishing line. Again, though, let's just talk about Helmi Asman. We haven't really spoken about him, but this is his 4th second place finish of the season. He's bike number 32 on the SCK Rapido Honda. Consistency the hallmark.
Consistency definitely the hallmark. There's probably 10 riders capable of winning on any given Sunday, to use the cliche. But Helmi is capable, is always there in the mix, and he's clever enough to make sure he's in position to pick up the points.
It was a point that you made during the commentary. There's some young riders, there's some older riders. Experience, I suppose, does come into play at some stage.
Experience does, but Helmi also, he's young, but he does have a lot of experience. He also races in the Cup Pre-Series in Malaysia and in Supersport in the Malaysian Series.
We're seeing Hazik Farus leading the way here. I'm fascinated to see what happened to Hazik in the end, because he was in this leading group right the way through. This is where it jockeys, and that's where Helmi had a bit of a surprise, and that thing just calmed him down a little bit, meant I don't have to win this weekend. I can win this in Buriram.
Yeah, that's right. This will go to Buriram, I think, and you can see in that close-up action just how much is going on in the wheel-to-wheel.
Getting through onto the final lap now, and this is where Agong Farrell did really well. He got a little bit of distance between him and the rest, and then going over. Well, we saw them as they went over. That was where Hazik seemed to have lost his footing, and 2 riders went head over heels as they went over the finishing line. But it's a victory for Agong Farrell from Indonesia.
Brilliant result for him, brilliant result for his team. Brilliant exposure for his team. His sponsors are going to be happy.
And we are going to just go over to the podium next at the end of this first race of the Idemitsu Asia Road Racing Championship, Sentul leg. leg 5, races 9 and 10 of the season taking place today and tomorrow. And for the first time, Agung Farrell will be on the podium. We'll have the national anthems in a moment, but first the prizes will be handed out. And for the Underbone 150cc, Kendi Chan, the FIM Asia Jury President. It's been a great year for Indonesian sport. The Asia Road Racing Championship guys just joining in the fun of an Asian Games year and of the Para Games, which are ongoing at the moment. And we've got a relevant story to tell you about later on today in the Para Games. But now let's just reintroduce Kendi Chan, the FIM Asia Jury President. And Gupita Krishna, we didn't really mention him much in the commentary, Barry, but again, I've got to use the word consistency for him, as I did for Helmi Asman.
Gupita knows how to win championships. He's won 2 ARRC Underbone championships. He's a quality, experienced rider, and he knew what he had to do. He believes he can win. He didn't pull it off that time, but he'll be okay with that podium. He hasn't had too many this season. The first couple of rounds, he didn't really get it together with his new team.
The Orbit SND CNC team enjoying their moment in the spotlight as well. That's what it's all about. So Malaysia second, but Indonesia are 1 and 3. Gupita Krishna and Agung Farrell, new winner for us this season. And as you say, let's see if he can repeat the dose tomorrow.
Yeah, I doubt whether that was a fluky win. I think we'll see him up there again tomorrow.
Let's have a look at what it means to the overall standings, though. Helmi Asman is 154, 32 points clear of Izzat Zaidi. Now, Izzat Zaidi was the guy who crashed on the finishing line. Glad to tell you, Izzat on bike number 98, although he crashed, came in 5th place overall, picked up points, and is okay. Fazli Sham got a point as well. He came third. He's third overall in the standings with 96 points into the top 10. It's Malaysia who are dominating 3 Indonesians. A little bit further down, Haziq Farus. Disappointing finish for him. He'd been for so long in the lead. Finished in 17th, out of the points at all today. 49 points for him. Going down, Travis Hall from Australia. He's picked up 46, so a reasonable season for him. And Agung Farrell, 25 points, first race of the season, already on the leaderboard ahead of Mio Nakahara. So that's the end of the coverage of the Underbone 150cc. Don't go too far away, though, because we've got the Asia Production 250cc coming up next. This is the Idemitsu Asia Road Racing Championships. We're at the Sentul track in Indonesia. A very warm welcome back to the Idemitsu Asia Road Racing Championships. We're at the Sentul International Circuit in Sentul, just a little bit south of the capital city of Eastern Java. We're in Jakarta. It's a testing track, and our next contest is going to be the Asia Championship 250cc. And one person who's made a real mark in this particular championship this year is the only woman in the track, Muklada Sarupwech. She missed the last race in Madras, so we thought we'd catch up with her and find out a little bit what's been going on and what she expects ahead of this round 5 in Sentul.
When the AP Honda Racing Thailand rider was injured in a crash with her very own teammate Krichapong Kausonti. Thankfully, Muklada is now back in action, and we managed to catch up with her right before the race weekend for a very quick update.
ก่อนอื่นก็สวัสดีนะคะสำหรับสนามนี้ก็กลับมาแข่งในสนามที่อินโดนีเซียนะคะสำหรับอาการบาดเจ็บตอนนี้ก็ดีขึ้นมากนะสำหรับการผ่าตัดเนี่ยก็คือเราได้รับการผ่าตัดที่ญี่ปุ่นมานะคะก็รักษาตัวมาประมาณ2 เดือนนะคะ2 เดือนกับการผ่าตัดนะคะ
Yes, say hello to everyone. Now she's come back with the ARC in this race. She missed. I mean, how is the hand? She did operation in Japan. About they put the plate inside, and she did operation, and they try to fix it for his bone because many ligament also has a problem, something like that.
สำหรับการแข่งขันที่ซูซูก้านะคะก็ไม่ได้ลงทำการแข่งขันแต่ว่าเราก็ไปช่วยน้องๆที่ได้รับทำการแข่งขันต่อจากมุกนะคะสำหรับการแข่งขันที่อินเดียด้วยเราก็พลาดสนามนั้นไปก็คือหายอาการบาดเจ็บเนี่ยยังหายไม่ทันนะคะแต่ว่าเราก็เหมือนฝึกซ้อมอยู่ที่ประเทศไทยนะก็คอยฝึกซ้อมโดยมีพี่ฟิล์มเนี่ยก็คอยเป็นเทรนเนอร์แล้วก็คอยดูแลเรื่องของอาการบาดเจ็บด้วยค่ะ
Suzuka 4 hours she missed because of injury, but she go to work with the rider coach also in ARC in India. But after did operation, she always make physical therapy and try to make training, and sometimes go to with the bike. After it's okay.
ค่ะสำหรับสนามนี้ก็กลับมาแข่งในสนามอินโดนีเซียนะคะสภาพร่างกายตอนนี้ก็อาจจะ 90% นะคะ 90% กับการที่เราได้กลับมาแข่งขันนะก็มีการฝึกซ้อมแล้วก็มีการออกกำลังกายเนี่ยในการที่เราบาดเจ็บมาก็ค่อนข้างที่จะ 100% พอสมควรแล้วแต่ว่าเหลืออีก 10% เนี่ยก็อาจจะเป็นในการขับขี่ของสนามมากกว่าที่เรามาขับขี่ในสนามนี้ก็เหมือนกับให้เรามาปรับตัวด้วยแต่ว่าก็อย่างที่บอกว่าสนามนี้เราเคยแข่งมาแล้วก็ไม่ค่อยเป็นห่วงเท่าไหร่นะคะก็อาจจะในวันพรุ่งนี้อาจจะลงไปลองทดสอบร่างกายแล้วก็ทดสอบรถของเราด้วยว่าสมบูรณ์แบบแล้วก็พร้อมที่จะทำการแข่งขันไหม
She said 90%, but I think I push 100% for her. I think at this round she already missed 2 months, I think, for her injury. But I think she said that in the first free practice she will try to step by step because 2 months without riding the race bike is too long. And also we did modification on the bike also for her with her injury in the hand. Then I think maybe it could help her to ride better. Please support Muklada this weekend.
Thank you.
Great story, Muklada Sarupwech, and she did well in qualification. We'll give you the qualification highlights in just a moment. She missed Madras, justifiably enough, but she's back here. This is the circuit, 12 corners on here. It's mainly right-handers, but the left-handers are very difficult as well, Barry Russell.
Yeah, they're significant as well. There's five left-handers. The first one is turn 2, which is fearsomely fast. The 600s are going through there at upwards of 180 kilometers an hour. Banked over.
This is the 250cc qualification that took place this morning. Now, Mclada, we've got to mention her. She put in a decent time, 6th fastest overall, 143.127. That's an average of close to 138.5 kilometers per hour. But let's just focus on those who particularly did well. Or not, as the case may be. Awin Sanjaya, he got the 3rd fastest. Awin, a time of 1:42. Reza Danica, the overall championship leader, like number 123, second. The fastest, Mario Surya Aji from Indonesia from the Astra Honda Racing team. Astra Honda Racing 1, 2, 3 on the podium, Larry.
Yeah, a lockout by Astra Honda. So they're going to be very happy to do that in front of their home fans. What we saw Anupab Sarmoon coming through in qualifying after a quiet free practice day on Friday. But Mario Surya Aji is an interesting rider. He's burst into this series this year. We saw him first in the Asia Talent Cup last year, doing very well and winning a couple of races. He's 15 years old.
Yeah, you mentioned Anupab there. We're used to seeing Anupab at the front of this championship standings, or certainly last year, where he was part of a very successful team. He's done well to get himself up into 4th here, but they are on, is it an inferior bike or is it just an inferior setup?
The Honda CBR 250 RR is a beautiful bike, and it does have the edge in a few ways, a little bit more power. Seems to be a little bit sweeter handling than the Yamaha, which is why you can't see too many Yamahas up at the front.
But Astra Honda on the Honda, Mario Suryo, who had the fastest lap of all, so he'll be the one we'll be keeping most of an eye on. In terms of the overall championship standing, we'll be looking at 2nd place in the championship, Reza Danica. In the championship, let me just explain. Reza Danica is top of the pile, 148 points. Mario Suryo Aji is 2nd on 122 points. They swap positions for this in terms of pole goes to Mario Suryo Aji, and Reza Danica will be in 2nd. Can you see anybody really competing with Astra Honda on this particular circuit?
I can see perhaps a couple of Indonesian Yamaha riders and Anupab. I think Ferozi, Rafid Topan can come through. Yeah, they will join Anupab. They will be the 3 Yamahas in contention. And I think that's probably about it. It's going to be about the Astra Hondas.
What about Mclada? We saw her. How much of a mental scar will that wrist injury and the spectacular crash at Suzuka have on her? She missed Madras. She's back in here. She's done well in qualification, but qualification and racing are 2 very different animals.
Yeah, they are indeed. I'm quite sure that there's no psychological scarring from that crash for Mclada.
Okay, let's go down to the grid where Huiling is, I believe, going to be talking to Mario Suryo and Anupab and also Andy Mohamed Fadli. Huiling.
All right, I'm here down on the Asia Production 250cc race run grid. The weather condition is really heating up right now. As you can see, I'm starting to melt, and starting from pole position today is Mario Surya Aji. Mario, starting from pole at your home race, you have been consistent all throughout yesterday and today. How confident are you towards today's race?
Yeah, I'm very happy because this is my first pole in Asia Road Racing Championship. From pre-practice until qualifying, we try to find our best setting. So this temperature is so hot, so we must control the grip and try to enjoy.
So how familiar are you with the Sentul circuit? Because we know many Indonesian riders, you get many practice time and also racing here.
We already have data before, so still need more little bit adapted from the track. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mario. And we are going to move down to 4th on the grid. We're going to go a little lower down to meet the Thai rider who is the quickest here. That is Yamaha Thailand Racing Team's Anupab Samut. Anupab, we've seen you've been working very hard all throughout Friday and this morning to try to keep up with these fast Indonesian riders. How are you managing it?
From yesterday, we have a problem. something in the bike are not so good. But today morning qualify everything more good, and we have win. I think today we can do, yes. But many people in Indonesia very strong and very fast. In today, this week, I try to my best for the Yamaha band and for team. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Anupap, and good luck to you. And starting next to Anupap on the grid, representing Manotech KYT Kawasaki Racing, is Andy Muhammad Fadli. Fadli, the weather is heating up here on the grid for the 250cc race, but you are right in the middle of the second row.
Yeah, I want to say to my team for the hard working. Because my team, I can start from second row. It's very important for me. And please wish me luck, all people Indonesia, and support me to be a win in this year today. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Fadli, and good luck for the first race at home. So that's it from me on the grid. Back to Des and Barry in the studio.
Thank you, Healing. And we do wish you luck, Andy Muhammad Fadli. But you'll need quite a bit of luck to get the better of the Astra Honda Racing side because, as we said, they are 1, 2, and 3 on the grid. Reza Danica Arons, he didn't have the most successful second race last time out, but otherwise he has had an absolutely fabulous season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive wins since the second round of the tournament.
Yeah, that's what's put him at the head of the championship. The reason that he hasn't run away with it is that the young rider we're looking at now, Mario Suryo Adji, has scored 5 second places. And nobody's told this 15-year-old that it's difficult to race at this level. So he's had a fantastic season so far, and he will be expecting to race. He won't be listening to any whispers of team orders, and he doesn't really need to at this stage.
So from Mario Suryo, let's move on to Reza Danica. And how do we explain this consistency? Obviously, the bike itself has a lot, but is it the fact that he's matured a little bit from over the last couple of seasons in Asia Production 250?
It's definitely that. Last year, he was Gary Salim's wingman, and he did a really good job of that. He has carried the mantle for Gary Salim into this season, and he's done it very well.
And the third of the Astra Honda Racing on the front row, Awin Sanjaya, also from Indonesia. Not the worst season. He's had a 1 third-place finish in round 2 in Australia. Another 20-year-old with bags still to come from this young kid.
Yes, he has. He hasn't quite got on the pace of his 2 teammates, but a very fast rider.
Onto the second row, and we are now with Anupap Samoon from the Yamaha Tyre Racing team. 25 years of age now, and a good age for a rider. He's mature enough, he's learned enough things, and he's learning how to stay out of trouble.
He's super fit, he's super strong, he's a real samurai of a racer.
Barry Russell spends a lot of time in Thailand, lives in Bangkok, Thailand, so know those riders intimately. Andy Muhammad Fadli, another from Indonesia. He was the guy asking for a little bit of luck. You need a little bit of luck and some talent as well to get around this particular circuit.
The really good thing about Andy Fadli this year has been that he started to put a really good season together. Having been erratic, fast but erratic in the past, this season's been good for him. And here's Mukladar.
Yeah, we spoke to Muklada before. A horrific crash, or spectacular crash it was in Suzuka. Hopefully not many mental scars. She did miss India. We'll just see if she's a little bit more timid going into the potential confrontations.
Psychologically, she's fine. The problem she's got is that that complex fracture of the left hand that she's got makes it difficult for her in the left-hand turns. So that's where she's going to be vulnerable, but she's very tough. I'm sure there's no psychological scars from that. She bounced back from that. She was full of vim and vigor when I spoke to her this morning, although she did say, contrary to what she said in the interview, she told me that her wrist was 70%.
Well,
Let's see.
We'll see how it works. This is a predominantly right-handed cornered circuit, but the left-handeds, when they come in, there's a tough one at turn 6, a fast one at turn 2, and a tough one at turn 8 as well. We've got the 1 minute clock. A couple of other people really to keep an eye on. Rafi Topan Susito from Indonesia on the Yamaha. He'll be starting 12th. Another local favourite is Ray Ratakore, who'll be starting in 13th. And Cao Vietnam from Vietnam, we're getting full international representation. And Choi Ke-lung from Chinese Taipei, and Anish Damodar Shetty, one of 2 Indians who are here this weekend. Satu Rajiv in 22nd place on bike number 80 is also here for the Idemitsu Honda Racing India team.
Yeah, those riders you just mentioned have got huge followings back in their home countries, which is great for this series. And those riders are progressing. They come in at this level, and they know how fast it is, and they have to close the gap. They work really hard.
That's the camera at the end of the first straight, as we're into the warm-up lap, a little bit tentative. You can see how hazy it can be as we go through the grid. Mario Suryo, Aji, Reza Danica, and Arwin make it an all Astra Honda Racing row 1. Row 2, Anupar from Thailand, Ali Mohamed Fadli, Muklada Sarapwech from AP Honda, Angi Setiawan, Richard Taroa, and Pirapong Boonlet make it a tie. Indonesia row 3. On to row 4, Sigi Purno Harjono, Fairozi from Indonesia, and Rafid Topan Susito on the Yamaha. 2 Yamahas on the Honda on row 4. Looking down row 5, Ray Ratakore, Kritchapong from Thailand on the AP Honda, and Khairul Ikhwan from Malaysia completing row 5. And row 6, we've got Yossi Hafiz Nur Azman from Malaysia on the Yamaha, and Kanatat Jaiman completing the first 6 rows on bike number 90. A little bit further down, it's quite a congested grid. Row 7, Jano Adieto from Indonesia on the Yamaha. Cao Vietnam we mentioned, and Ahmad Afif Amran from Malaysia. Setu Rajiv is alongside Hafiz Arofa and Cho Ke-lung. Bike number 888. It's got to be lucky for somebody. Ricky Susanto, Anish Damodar Shetty from India, bike number 81. Daniel El Faham. And also we've got Muhammad Idril Mahadi from Malaysia, Suzuki Takashi, and Nico Julian, who had did not qualify, but is on the starting grid.
Yeah, the 2 riders there that surprised me by how far down the grid they were are Rafid Topan Suchipto and Ferozi.
Ferozi, yes, indeed. I'm just trying. So Ferozi 11th on the grid for Yamaha.
They both had good pace in free practice, so let's see. Maybe just this morning's session wasn't so good for them.
Yeah, the lap times. Mario Suryo was quickest at 1:39.911 average speed, a lap time of 1:42.2. But right the way down to 13th, Ray Ratakore, they're all lapping above 138 kilometers per hour. So there is plenty of quality out there. So the formation lap is done. You hope that no problems accrue in the formation lap. Astra Honda Racing Team poised, ready, confident. They've had a stellar season already. They've got a 1, 2, 3 at the moment on the grid. What can possibly go wrong, Barry Russell?
Anything can happen, as we know, in Asia Road Racing, and particularly perhaps in this class, the intermediate class, where riders are really launching their careers. And we've seen Gary Salim and many other riders. We saw last weekend at MotoGP in Thailand, we saw 3 riders that have been in this series in the Moto 3 class. And last year's 600 winner, Dimaseki Pratama, has signed to do Moto 2 next year.
We are just about set for race number 1 of the AP 250. It's a bad start from Reza Danica in second. Arwin and Mario Suryo got away quickly, but Reza Danica, a really poor start, and Anupar and Andy Mohamed Fadli have got ahead of him. Andy Mohamed Fadli leads in, they come into the quick left-hander. Great start from Andy Mohamed.
Fantastic start on that Kawasaki. That really got off the line well. Terrible start from Reza, who bogged it right down. And I can see Muqtada just at the front of what already looks like a second group.
But you saw there immediately the Astra Honda racing team said, okay, Mr. Andy, you got a good start, but we have got the straight line speed and we are just going to close that gap ahead between us.
Yeah, and look at who's in that front five there. You've got Fadley at the front, you've got the three Astra Hondas, and then you've got Anupam Sarnoon in 5th place. And I think that's going to be what we're looking at for most of this race.
Just gliding past Andy Mohamed Fadley was Mario Suryo Agé, 15 years of age. You do forget how young these guys are, how fearless they can be. But a poor start from Reza Danica, and having had such a great season so far, maybe his confidence was a little hit by what happened in India last time out, Barry.
It could well be. Him and Mario both had an off. And those 5 wins, as you mentioned earlier, Des, were on the bounce, all in succession. The start of the season wasn't so good for him. So he's not unbeatable.
12 laps of the Central Circuit. They come into the start-finish line pretty soon. Sorry, a little bit ahead of myself. No, there's the start-finish line. They go over. And the order we have will be Arvind Sanjaya leading from Mario Suryo Agé. Andy Mohamed Fadley, and Reza Danica has got himself up nice and jumped. Oh, he's down. Is that Reza Danica? A little bit of contact. I think it's Reza on the Astra Honda, the championship leader, who is down. Confirmation coming in just a moment. But it's one of the Astra Honda that has disappeared.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the update.
Yeah, it's Mario Suryo Agé. So the man who was on pole position, 2nd overall, there must have just been a little bit of contact because it's a shuddering fall onto his shoulder. Luckily, Barry, he looks okay.
Yeah, he looks pretty downhearted, but fortunately, that's it. He's physically, I think he's okay.
Well, it leaves a little bit of space for Reza Danica to move into the front 2, and there's the Mario Suryo Supporters Club, and it's right in front of them that the crash took place.
And indeed, his 2nd successive DNF, having talked about how consistent his season's been so far.
Indeed it is. 5 consecutive pole positions, a DNF in India last time out, and there'll be a DNF here as well in spectacular fashion. Further down the line, Maklada, let's talk about her. She's now up into 5th place. Rafid Topan, you suggested you were disappointed with how he's raced. He's now up into 6th, and just pulling in on the back of these front 5.
Yeah, Muqtada digging in.
They come through the start-finish line for the 2nd time. Arvind Sanjaya is 2nd. Reza Danica, having a dreadful start, has pulled out quite a healthy lead, and it's Astra Honda Racing. Let's have a look at the incident once again.
Oh, he just touches the back of Andy Fadley's Kawasaki there.
Late on the brakes.
Yeah, just ran into the back of him. Yeah, just a little bit too late on the brakes, too hot into that corner.
From your jury judgment, no fault there from Andy Mohamed Fadley?
No, absolutely not. No, it was just Mario coming in a bit too hot, unfortunately.
So one of the Astra Honda Racing, what could possibly go wrong was the question I posed.
Well, we saw it on lap 2, so we've got an idea. But now we see
Reza Danica leading the way. Now in 2nd. Andy Mohamed Fadley has dropped down into 4th, and Anupam Sarnoon, as you suggested, has got himself up into a healthy position.
And Rafid in 3rd position, so he's come up from a lowly starting point on the grid.
Yeah, so what went wrong with him in qualification? We mentioned he wasn't too far away in terms of lap times and lap speed.
So he started
12th.
Yeah, he started from 12th.
At the moment he's into 3rd. It's Reza Danica leading the way. Close attention to Arvind Sanjaya. Now for Arvind Sanjaya, this is an opportunity. He hasn't had a top, a 1st place so far this season. He's had 1 3rd, and he goes over the line, neck and neck with Reza Danica. Barely 0.05 of a second between them.
Yeah, this is his home track in front of his home crowd. I think he'd like to not be known as the 3rd of the 3 Astra Honda 250 riders. So now's his chance. The challenge for the following riders, led by currently Andy Fadley, is not to let them get away any further. Let's see what they can do about that.
Astra Honda Racing, we anticipated they would dominate this race. Two of the front three are there. And Mohamed Fadley has got himself back in front of Rafi Tofan Susito on the Yamaha. So the Kawasaki performing well, but this is a little bit ominous because there's just a little bit of space being produced now by the front two, Arvind Sanjaya and Reza Danica.
Well, you can see that's Mukladar in fifth position now.
Psychological scars, clearly none.
No, she's digging in through the pain, and as we were saying, I think it's the left-handers where she's going to be feeling it. It's difficult for her to get off the bike and put weight on that left wrist.
It's Arvind who leads through on the Astra Honda Racing. Both have got the similar coloured livery with white helmets, but there's just a little red on the spec of Arvind Sanjaya's helmet. And here's the man who's leading as they come into the 12th and final corner. Arvind Sanjaya with Reza Danica in very, very close pursuit. Maklada has got herself into a good position as well. Andy Mohammed third, Rafid fourth, Maklada fifth, Ferozi, another you mentioned, sixth, and Anupap has dropped down into seventh place on the Yamaha.
Yeah, Ray Ratakori in ninth. He's been on a good run of form recently, so I would expect to see him come through. And Richard Toure also very highly rated in 10th position. Angie Setiawan in 11th. There's top quality all the way through this field.
Further down, let's give a mention to Setu Rajiv and Anish Damodara. They're not expected to be in the top 20. They're not expected to be in the points, and they're not as... And that's Anupap forced very, very wide there. Andy Mohammed Fadley is on the Kawasaki, is the man in our shot. But now this lead has extended even further. It's over a second between Reza Danica and Arvind Sanjaya. The big story so far of this race, though, is the crash that eliminated Mario Sorio Agi, the pole sitter.
Yeah, he was pretty downcast at that, but he'll be back fighting tomorrow.
Mohamed Fadley, it's in Indonesia, 1, 2, 3. That will please the home crowd, which expected to be a bit bigger tomorrow. It's not too bad today as Maklada is taken on the inside.
Yeah, she is the best of the rest, actually. Right as we watch them on the screen now, in fifth position.
And Sanjaya still leading the way, so this will be a fascinating battle between the two Astra Honda Racing guys. Are there team orders? Does such a thing exist in ARRC, Barry Russell?
Controversial question. I think team orders probably exist in every team as the championship gets closer to the finale, but I don't think there's anything significant here. Reza's got a decent lead in the championship. His closest rival is out, who's his own teammate, of course, Mario. So I don't think that's going to apply.
Let's just have a little focus on this battle between Maklada bike 44, Ferozi bike 901, and Anupap bike 500. They are 5th, 6th and 7th.
Yeah, Anupap clearly further back than he intended to be. But he's ridden that Yamaha as hard as it will go. There's no doubt about that. He has been challenged as the top Yamaha rider by Rafid Toppan throughout the last few races, and also by Ray Ratakori, who's not quite close enough to give him any problems this time. But we assumed at the start of the season he would be the runaway fastest Yamaha, but it's not proven to be quite the case.
The front six split into neat little groups of two. Maklada is taken on the inside by Anupap Bhattacharya. The Astra Honda Racing going through 1-2. Andy Mohammed Fadley is holding out in third place at the moment. The Kawasaki man is more focused on what's going on behind him with Rafid than what's going on ahead of him, Barry Russell.
Yeah, in fact that was Ferozi that slipped inside the Honda of Maklada. Anupap,
he's further back again,
yeah,
isn't he?
He's dropped further back.
So that's Ferozi now in 5th, Maklada in 6th. Well, now she's in 5th. And will she be in 6th again going into this corner? But she's a gutsy rider, is Maklada Sarapwech.
Yeah, she's as strong as they come. You'd never know from watching her on a bike, but that she's not another male rider, but there's really there's no gender disadvantage at all in her case.
Nice and low, but pressure really on her.
Yeah, just watching her come through that left-hander, I couldn't see any evidence of pain or disadvantage on that left wrist, but she is strong and she will be taking it. We've got around half distance now. Let's see how she goes for the rest of the race.
Now we're focusing on the battle for P5 as this is here. Mclada just managing to hold off Ferrucci. Ferrucci, who on the Yamaha, come back 9:01.
Yep, so they're the two best of the Yamahas this time. We see a lot of red and a lot of blue in this series, but I'm always happy to see Fadley on the screen, not only because he's a good rider and a nice young lad, but because he rides a green bike.
makes it easier. So Ferrucci, he's had a disappointing season, but he's just nicked ahead of Mclada again as they come into shot. Mclada, that right foot snakes out. They come around the double right-hander, turns 10 and 11. Ferrucci has a look on the inside. Mclada shuts that door very, very firmly in his face, but this is where she sometimes seems to lose it on the straight line speed. Not on this occasion, though. Arwen leads, Reza Danica, Fadley, Rafid, Mclada, Ferrucci and Anupar. That's 1 through 7.
Yeah, there goes Mclada at the end of the straight. She held that okay. That is a fast bike. If it hasn't got any engine problems, it will be one of the fastest bikes in this field.
Outside the top 15, we've got the likes of Hafiz Noor Azman, Genoa, Cal Vietnam, Setu Rajiv, Chao Kei Lung, Ricky Susanto, and also Nico Julian, as well as the Japanese Suzuki Takashi. In our focus at the moment, we're keeping this battle for P5 because battle for P1.
Yeah, battle for P3 as well.
Looks to be pretty much fun. Actually, let's go a little bit further down the line, and the likes of Pirapong on bike 45, Sigit Purno Hadjono on bike 63, and Andy Setiawan.
Sigit, one of the wild cards there. Pirapong, he's teammate to Anupar Sarmoon. Very consistent rider. He's picked up quite a few fourth places this year. Always in the leading group. He's a very good endurance rider as well. Along with Anupar, he's won the last two Suzuka 4-hour endurance races.
2 fourths and a 5th place so far this season for Anupar. Just to back it up with the actual statistics, but that's a good little group of 4 there.
Engi Setiawan, also a very quick rider. He's just put Ray Ratakori behind him, who himself has been going very well this season.
Okay, let's focus once again on the front 2. They've been mixing and matching. Reza Danica bike 123, Arwin Sanjaya, who would love to get his first win of the season. He's next to him on bike 198. He was 3rd fastest in qualification.
Now 2 seconds back to Rafid in 3rd position, and then no distance at all back to Fadley in 4th. So that's the battle for the final step on the rostrum.
I think at these stages it's about, okay, we'll just keep our distance from the rest of the pack. We'll race on the last lap. Is that how these two guys are thinking?
That is how it is. These two, well, the team orders they'll have will be not to take each other out. That'll be the extent of it, I suspect. But certainly that battle for 1st and the battle for 3rd, you can just see in the background of that shot between Rafid and Fadley. That will also be decided.
First time there's a little bit of space. Reza Danica is just being left a little bit behind. It's not a big enough distance for him to worry about. Arwin is leading the way. Reza's 2nd as Andy Mohammed Fadley retakes 3rd place by just taking the right line through the corner to get himself ahead of Rafi Topan Susito.
Yeah, he would very much like another podium.
Now then, the 3 behind them, Mclada. She makes sure this is my space, this is my town. Well, it's not really, but she's saying it is. And then she goes on the outside and loses on the inside. And Mclada just lost it a little bit, and she drops now from 5th into 6th place.
Yep, that was nicely done by
Ferozi.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's Ferozi.
Although Mclada's got herself back into 5th place once again.
Yeah.
Number 44, really enjoying that.
Yeah, the speed of that Honda and the resilience, the indomitable spirit of the rider will carry her through no matter what's going on her left wrist.
The vivid green helmet of Anupab is the one on her shoulder now, as Mclada is closing in on P4, which is Rafid Topan Susito. Or is that just my eyes deceiving me as they go around turn 4, the Dunlop corner? We are approaching the tail end, 3.5 laps to go. Mclada followed by Anupab. And after Anupab, we've got Ferozi, who at one stage was 5th, has now dropped back into 7th place. And that gap, Barry Russell, has definitely closed.
Yeah, and Anupab's got himself back on terms with that group. So that's good work by him, as he looked like he was falling back. But he's now putting himself into that 5-way battle for 3rd position, which is currently led by Rafid Topan Sucipto.
So Rafid ahead of Andy Mohamed Fadli, Mclada Sarabwech, followed by Anupab. And just being left a little bit behind them now. Something seems to have happened to Ferozi. Not that you could worry about him, but he's the tail of that group of 5 as they whiplash round into the home straight. After this, there'll be 2 laps to go. The race leaders have gone over the line. Arwin is leading from Reza Danica. Sorry, Reza Danica went over the line first, just a wheel ahead of Arwin. There they go.
Rafid Fadli and Mclada in a line as they crossed the finishing line.
Mclada has a look at 3rd, a little bit of contact and is forced out wide, and instead of going to 3rd, drops down to 6th instead.
This class is all about keeping your momentum up. Corner speed is everything, and she lost some corner speed with that little bit of contact. The bike got a little bit out of shape.
Andy Mohamed Fadli leading the way ahead of Rafid Topan. Mclada has a look on the inside this time. The front 2, the gap, as we have 1.5 laps to go. Again, the Dunlop corner is corner number 4.
Yeah, Ferozi just got ahead of Mclada, and Anupab fighting to stay on terms with those 4 bikes in front of him.
That's my girl, Mclada Sarabwech. She goes on the inside, takes 3 places with one stunning piece of skill. It's P3 for Mclada Sarabwech at the moment.
Wouldn't that be a good return from a nasty injury?
It was a spectacular injury. I don't know whether you saw the pre-race footage we shot, but she went head over heels. Now she is in 3rd place, leading 4 high-quality, experienced riders. Ahead of her, though, there's the Astra Honda Racing Team, who are on a different racing planet just here, but it's Mclada as they come round the corner, corner 11 and corner 12, and we're into the final lap. Ahead of them, the front 2 are Reza Danica and Arwin Sanjaya. Arwin leads Reza by a wheel. Mclada goes into 3rd place. Final lap is on. It is Arwin Sanjaya who leads. Mclada drops from 3rd to 5th as Andy Mohamed Fadli makes a move.
Yeah, and Rafid just behind Fadli. And now Ferozi just got in front of Mclada.
Maybe she'd shown all she had, Mclada, and now she's being caught up at the front. It's still Arwin holding off Reza Danica. Reza Danica had a DNF last time out. He'd love to get win number 6 of the season, but Arwin Sanjaya is looking for his 1st win of the campaign. A nervy look behind, over the shoulder. Andy Mohamed Fadli is right on the tail of Rafid Susito.
Look at the speed of that Kawasaki. He gets through in front of him, and he takes it's a good line through that chicane. Mclada back behind him.
In 4th place, we must begin to focus a little bit of attention on the front 2 here as they come through. The Astra Honda Racing, Reza Danica has a look on the inside. The sharp right, the sharp left as they come through. Andy Mohamed Fadli in 3rd, takes Mclada with him. The front 2, though, coming to the final 2 corners.
Final 2 right-handers.
Difficult to know who to focus on. We'll have to go to the winners in a moment. Andy Mohamed Fadli, P3 ahead of McLarda. That is a race worth seeing. Behind them, it is 1, 2, 3, Reza Danica, who gets the win ahead of Arvind Sanjaya. Behind them, Rafid, McLarda, Andy Mohamed, Ferozi and Anupab complete the top 7. Thrilling stuff for P3.
Fantastic race for P3. That could have gone anyway. Muqtada really thought it was hers. Fadli thought it was his. Rafid took it.
But Astra Honda Racing take 1-2 despite the disappointment of Mario Sorio Aji, the pole sitter, crashing out early on. They've got themselves a 1-2, and Reza Danica has got himself a 6th victory of the season.
Yep, good for him. He's took the confidence of the championship leader and a 5-race winner into that. He, if there was any psychological scars from his DNF in India, those will have been nicely healed up now as he moves clearer, especially as Mario, who was second in the championship, fell in that race.
He moves 51 points clear of Mario Sorio Aji. Anupab will pick up points, but Mario will stay in 2nd place. As for Arvind Sanjaya, he'll pick up his best position of the season, P2, which will move him on to 92 points.
I think Arvind will be happy with that result.
Well, the battle for P3 was the one that we focused on for a long time. And McLarda didn't win it in the end because a man who you pinpointed very early on as having not done so well in qualification, Rafi Topan Susito, he lived up to your billing, Barry Russell.
Yeah, he did. Pleased to see him there. He was the best of the Yamahas.
Let's have a confirmation of the result. Reza Danica, Arvind Sanjaya, Rafi Topan Susito will be on the podium. McLarda picking up 4th. Andy Mohamed Fadli, good ride on the Kawasaki. Ferozi in 6th place. Anupab did his best, but 4 seconds adrift in 7th. Sigit Pono Harjono and Angi Setiawan was 6 or 7 and 8 seconds adrift. And Richard Taroa, 8.1 seconds down in 10th. Pirapong Boonlet and Yossi, they had their own battle amongst themselves in which the Thai just got ahead of the Indonesian. Best of the Malaysians, Ahmed Afif Amran, 15 seconds adrift. Completing the points will be Krichapon and Ray Ratukore from Indonesia. Cal Vietnam, the best of the rest, ahead of Hafiz Noor Azman. Nico Julian, that's a good result for him. He started right at the very tail of the grid. So he got himself up to 18th overall. Further down, Cho Kei Leung, 22nd for him. Setu Rajiv, 23rd. Takashi, in 24th, and Anish Damadora in 25th. The DNFs, there were 3 only. So into the Parc Ferme, and Reza Danica Arons, he's used to being here. And Hui Ling is our intrepid reporter in the midst of all the hugs and the kisses. And she will be hoping to get a chat with the top 3 first. A reminder, it is Rafid Topan Susito, Arvind Sanjaya and Reza Danica. We're just waiting for Wheeling to wait for the riders to take their helmets off. So Barry Russell, quick thoughts on the race. Reza Danica, we rather ignored him because, well, he's had such a stellar season. He's easy to ignore at the moment.
That's happened a few times to him this season. He was so far ahead in Suzuka in particular that he barely got a mention. But we saw some good fast formation flying by Reza Danica and Arvind Sanjaya at the front, and we saw a terrific battle for 3rd place that saw a really strong performance from the returning Muqtada, but a really good, clever ride by Rafid Topan.
Okay, let's go down to the Parc Ferme. Wheeling.
Down here at the Parc Ferme for the Asia Production 250cc Race 1. Congratulations, Rafid Topan, 3rd place finish at your home race.
Yes, I'm very happy because I can get a podium start from 12th, and then thanks to my team and my sponsor from Koni, Yamaha, IMI, and then Pak Judiarto, Pak Tinton, and Pak Prastio yang always support me until now. Thank you.
All right, congratulations, Rafi Topan, coming in second place today, picking up a second place finish in his home race. Awin Sanjaya, Awin, you started really well in race 1. Were you attempting to pass Reza to try to get the win for yourself?
Ya, saya sangat senang bisa podium di race 1 ini. Saya sangat senang bisa podium bersama satu rekan saya, Reza Danika. Semoga Reza Danika di race 1 ini bisa mengunci gelar juara umum RRC di tahun 2018.
All right, thank you so much, Awin. Congratulations. So what he said is that he's very happy for his second place finish, and he does hope that teammate Reza Danika will be able to clinch the overall champion this weekend. And here he is, Mr. Reza Danika, another victory here in the AP 250 and at your home race. As your teammate Awin mentioned, you are inching closer to the title.
Yeah, today I'm very happy for the race 1 today. First, I say thanks God, thanks to my family, my team, everybody support me. After little bit struggling when practice, but after qualifying, I have get good lap time and good personal. And today, say thanks to my team, very good setting for me, very good advice and everything. Thank you.
All right, congratulations, Reza, and we will see all 3 riders on the podium shortly.
We will indeed. Thank you, Hui Ling. And let me talk to Barry Russell about... I'm going to ask you that thorny question of team orders. Do you think that came into play, or is Reza just that much more superior to his teammates and, on this occasion, to Awin Sanjaya?
Honestly, I think Reza just has an edge. I almost made a terrible pun then about Reza's edge, but I do think it's there, and I think psychologically, Awin would have expected to have finished behind him.
Here is the best of the action that we've just seen. Mario Surya Aji, the 15-year-old, starting on pole. And all our talk is about Astra Honda Racing Team and whether or not they'll be able to get a 1-2-3. Reza Danica got off to a dreadful start. Andy Mohammed Fadli, he got away, but then the Astra Honda Racing looked like they were going to make this a 1-2-3 until a rather spectacular accident for 15-year-old Mario Surya.
Yeah, he hit the rear of Andy Fadley's Kawasaki Ninja 250.
Bike number 16. We'll come to it in just a moment. I'm sure we'll see the highlight. But they got through nice and comfortably. Andy Mohammed Fadli, when we do see, I think it's coming into it here. There's no fault to Andy Mohammed Fadli for the accident when it does take place.
No, he was on a normal line through the corner, and Mario just came in a bit too quick and clipped his back wheel.
It's already happened by now, so we're not going to show it. So our focus then turned into the battle for P5. And Maglada Sarupech, the young Thai female rider who is really making a name for herself over the last 2 or 3 seasons in this category. There's the incident. That's a game changer.
Yeah, that was a nasty tumble. If you're 15, it's probably one you can recover from a little bit quicker than you can when you reach our kind of age. But yeah,
and he landed hard on the tarmac as well. That's the resurfaced area. Again, just to re-emphasize, no error from Andy Mohammed Fadli.
No, I really think no error from him.
What it meant was that these front 2 of Awin Sanjaya and Reza Danica were able to pull away and just make sure they kept a good distance between them and the battle for P3. Andy Mohammed Fadli was heavily involved in that battle for P3. And in the end, Andy came in 5th place. Will he be frustrated to have only got a 5th place, having been so involved in a battle for P3?
Yes, he's been up close to the front ever since the Australian round in the second round of the season, where he scored a podium, and he wants another one. He really does, and so he will be disappointed with 5th place.
He did pick up a 2nd place in India last time out after a DNF as well, so you're quite right to say he's been there or thereabouts, the green livery. Maglada Sarupech also on her comeback competed well. She came 4th. But let's talk about Rapid Topan Susito. He won the last race in India, and he's picked up another podium here as well. It's turning into a healthy season for Rapid Susito.
Yeah, it is, and it's not one of the factory teams, so he's doing extremely well.
We'll go to the podium in just a moment, where it will be Astra Honda Racing who are leading the way.
Sucipto dari Indonesia, Yamaha KYT TJM WR Super Baterai.
And in second place, Awin Sanjaya from Astra Honda Racing Team.
Terbaik kedua kita itu adalah Awin Sanjaya berasal dari Indonesia dengan timnya Astra Honda Racing Team.
And today's Asia Production 250cc Race 1 winner, Reza Danica Arens from Astra Honda Racing Team.
Terbaik pertama dari Asia Production 250cc adalah Reza Danica Arens dengan Astra Honda Racing Team.
We'll have the introductions and the prize giving after the national anthem for the second time today of Indonesia.
Menemani para dua ridersnya.
We will now stand for the national anthem of Indonesia.
Silakan berdiri, kita akan mendengar lagu Indonesia Raya. Untuk Indonesia Raya.
Okay, the team prizes will be handed out by Lolo Munek, the general manager of Sentul International Circuit.
Berkenanya menyerahkan piala itu adalah Ibu Lola Monik selaku general manager.
Indonesian flags all the rage.
Dipersilakan.
An Indonesian 1, 2, 3.
Indonesia, Rafid Topan Sucipto.
For Rafid Topan.
Indonesia Rafid Topan Sucipto.
He was involved in a battle for P3 right the way through from almost the second lap onwards. Ended up in P3, which is a job well done.
A job very well done. It was certainly a hard-fought third place.
Second place, also from Indonesia, Awin Sanjaya.
For Awin Sanjaya, this is the best result that he's had so far this season. He was gracious in defeat and said that he hopes that Reza Danica goes on to win the title. And that is very likely because Reza Danica has won this race, Barry.
Yeah, Astra Honda is a very cohesive team, so I'm not surprised by his comments.
Reza Danica Arens.
6 times he's been top of the podium. It can be a very, very nice feeling to get used to, and the smile is familiar.
It is indeed, and he's not the biggest smiler in the paddock either, Reza Danica, but that was a good one. He should do it more often.
And for Astra Honda Racing, we thought the story would be about them before the race. The story is about them. They pick up the team award, and they are runaway leaders in the championship, the team championship. Confirmation. Indonesia 1, 2, 3. Rafid Topan Sucipto on the Yamaha. 2 Astra Honda Racing Team riders in Awin and Reza Danica are 2 and 1. Let's just have a look in a moment as to what that does to the overall championship standings. And you won't be surprised when I tell you that Reza Danica is within touching distance of the title. He's got himself 173 points, a 51-point lead over Mario Soria. Ajay Anupam, 117 points for him. That's a good battle he'll have with Mario Soria when they recommence tomorrow. There's another race on Sunday. Rafi Topan moves up into 4th. Arwin moves up into 5th. Andy Mohammed Fadli picks up points into 6th. Muklada stays in 7th. Below that, Ray Ratukore from Indonesia moves up into the top 10. Below them, Ahmed Afif Amran is the best of the Malaysians. Otherwise, it's ties with Kanatat and Krichapon in the top 15. Akito Narita not racing here today. 16 points in 18th place. And Carol Ikwan Ajis on 12 points in 20th. As we carry on a little bit further down the list. Or maybe we won't. I think we'll head off for a break as we prepare ourselves for the big race of the afternoon, the Super Sport 600cc. That is coming up after a short break. You're at the Idemitsu Asia Road Racing Championships. We're at the Sentul International Circuit, just south of Jakarta in Indonesia. The story was all about Anthony West in Madras last time out. Anthony will not be competing here in Sentul in round 5 of the championships. It means the likes of Aslan Shah, Kamru Zaman, Toyoshi Koyama and Zakwan Zaidi have all got a chance to close the gap at the top of the overall championship standings. Currently, Ant West from the Ikazuchi team is leading the championship. Before, though, we actually get into the 600cc race itself, let's just go back a little bit. And the Asia Road Racing Championships has been going along for 21 years, and one of the teams has been going on for nearly 20 years. So we sent our cameras down to Jakarta as we arrived, just to see how the R1 20th anniversary celebrations were going on.
renowned Yamaha R1 celebrates its 20th anniversary this year.
Selamat datang di ulang tahun ke-20 Yamaha R1.
On this very special celebration, many riders from the Asian Road Racing Championship were honored to be invited along with former ARRC and current MotoGP rider Hafiz Sharin Abdullah. We also had the chance to speak to Mr. Keitaro Horikoshi, General Manager of Southeast Asia Sales Division and Head of Motorsport Strategy Division, about Yamaha's exciting project for Asian riders in the coming future.
We would like to make an Asian hero, like today Galang Hendra, who is starting with Indonesian R3 Cup, but nowadays can challenge to the world. Also is Apiwat, is good example. After graduating this VR46 Master Camp, he now challenging CB Moto3, and then last MotoGP, Moto3 class also he attended. So this kind of Asian Heroes project we are going on, not only these two riders, but also other riders also maybe follow. We hope follow.
Please welcome Sharin and Galang. Sharin is the first MotoGP Championship rider from Asian countries, and Galang is Yamaha official rider of World Supersport 300.
R1 is very strong, as you may know. It's already many championships, and then very good for the riders. So I think several 600 riders can be the skillful for riding R1 next year. So we are planning, but not yet decided finally.
Happy 20th anniversary to R1.
It's not really selection, but it's once step up is 1,000. 1,000 races there are many races in the Europe or Japan or endurance races. So we have many options to choose. Also is 600 riders, big chance to step up. So we are not so selection, but we try to be ready in the time.
Sampai ketemu lagi di acara Yamaha berikutnya. Have a good day everyone. Bye bye.
So 20 years of the R1. Barry Russell was one of those who was influenced by the marketing when it first came out, and you still wax lyrical about the R1, Barry.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for a good story, Des. And I did buy one of those classic, now classic, red and white R1s back in 1999, the year after they were launched.
Okay, let's bring us up to the 21st century. And earlier on today, there was qualification for the Supersports 600cc. That's the race that we're about to focus on now. Andy Farad Idzahar was the man who will go in on pole as we look. We're on the bike with Andy Farad Idzahar. Talk us through a fast lap here at Sentul.
Well, we're starting fast here as on this 900-kilometer straight, so hitting speeds of maybe 270, something like that, into this right-hander, and then he's going to flick left into the fastest corner on the track, turn 2, where they're going through at something like 180 kilometers an hour. Then another long straight through into a double right-hander, the Dunlop curve coming up now. Long time over on the right-hand side of the tyre, and then full throttle again. Fly down towards a slight left-hand kink. You just see him go around, which is turn 5, and then through into the chicane, turn 6 and turn 7. And then another blast up to the Yamaha corner. We go right, and then pick the bike up, past the control tower, hard over to the left, and then squirt it towards turn 9, another left-hander, the last of the left-handers on this track. And now we're into the turn 10, double right-hander, again, and on to the start-finish straight once again. That's about 1 minute 30 seconds worth of excellent work by Andy Farid Izdihar.
So there's the flying lap talked to by Barry Russell, who's in the commentary chair for this round 5 of the Idemitsu Asia Road Racing Championships. And now, a little bit quieter, we are down on the grid itself. And Wheeling is down there, and hopefully she's got a chance to talk to the top 3 in pole, Andy Farid, Amadou Distera and Zakwan Zaidi.
All right, on the Super Sport 600cc with Andy Farid Izdihar, your very first pole position in the Super Sport 600cc class, and at your home race, how are you feeling towards the first race?
Yeah, really happy to start from pole, also in home, no? Indonesia. But yeah, I just focus for the rest because also this is my first time in start from front row. Feeling nervous, but I will try my best.
It looks like the weather, in terms of weather temperature, is a lot warmer than it was yesterday. Are you worried about tire management because it's a rather long race?
Yeah, for sure. The condition very hot also. Maybe the tire easy to drop the performance, but I think in the race I will manage the condition, the tire.
All right, all the best, Andy, on your first pole start. And starting right next to Andy Farid Izdihar today is Ahmad Yudhistira, another rider who's very focused on doing his best at his home race. So Yudhis, what I want to talk to you is about your amazing helmet design. So of course you have a special helmet made for this weekend for your home race. Can you show it to us?
Yeah. This is my design home race. And then this is also all my family, my friends, and all the Kawasaki Manual Tech stuff. Then especially for Padley because he's my best friend. And also knew my family. This is my daughter. I put on the top on my helmet. Then I will try do the best for my home race.
Okay, so look like you have well prepared for your home race, and it will be a very meaningful one, and we wish you all the best, Yudhis. Thank you. And completing the front row for today, from Malaysia, Muhammad Zakwan Zaidi. Zakwan, it is very hot right now. And of course, you are starting alongside 2 very strong Indonesian riders. How are you looking forward to its race 1?
For sure, I think very tough race. But I try my best for race, and for sure, my target is in the podium. But yes, in the race, anything can happen. But yes, I try my best. Thank you.
In terms of the championship lead, of course, you're slightly behind, but we have 4 more races to go. Are you thinking more just about the race today, or are the points on your mind at all?
Actually, no, because I just set in my mind, only finish the race, podium, and if I can get the step, can fight the overall champion, is good opportunity, and I will fight until Buridam.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much, Zakwan, and good luck for race 1. So that's it from me on the grid. Back to Des and Barry in the studio.
Thank you, Wheeling. Yes, interesting that Zakwan says the points aren't that important. There's still 100 points to play for in this championship. So even though Anthony West has got a very healthy lead, he's not here for this event. And so a couple of back-to-back wins for somebody like Zakwan really pushes him back into contention, if not for the championship, but certainly for a place in the top 3, Barry.
There are, and there's a lot of pride at stake, sorry, for Musashi Bunsu Honda, who've won something like 7 championships. So he's still the team leader, Zakwan, with 2 of those 7 championships to his name.
Let's go continuing our way down the grid. And Andy Farid Izdihar, fastest in pole, 27 number 27 he is, Andy Farid. 49 championship points. He's not had the best of seasons. What's changed for him this weekend?
This is his first season in the 600 series. He has shown flashes of brilliance. I think he's capable of putting a good race together. He made a very good point about time management earlier.
3/6 and 1/4 so far. Amadou Destir, I love that story about his helmet. You don't often see the detail of that, so great job from Wheeling. Not to ask the generic questions I would, but what a tribute to his family and friends.
Yeah, it's beautiful, actually. Really nice.
Tears in Barry Russell's eyes there. Tears. And Zakwan Zaidi will be alongside him after a pole of 130.417, averaging 157.9 kilometers an hour. For Zakwan, as you say, he's used to being at the very top of the championship leaderboard. He's not too far away, 5th place overall. 50 points this weekend makes one heck of a difference to his season.
It does, absolutely. And he was the fastest qualifier last year. He was the pole sitter last year. He goes very well here. The Honda goes very well on this tricky circuit.
And now on to your pals. You're particularly strong on the Thai races and an affinity for them. And this is Ratapong Guilarot.
Yeah, Ratapong had a huge crash yesterday at turn 2, the fast turn 2. He dislocated his left shoulder, as you can just about see now from his body language. Thank you, Ratapong. The medical staff popped it back in. His bike was destroyed. So while he was in the medical centre, his bike put his machine back together, and the crash was in pre-practice 1. He was back on track and putting in very good times in free practice 3, and he qualified well.
Fabulous. Here is the actual incident. Great job by the editors, and oh, he's lost it there, and yeah, that looks fun.
Yeah, there he goes, bouncing over the gravel. It probably felt like rocks to him as he went over it.
Okay, alongside him, the veteran, Deiche Kreisart, a former champion at Supersports 600, 37 years of age now, still as competitive as they come.
Yeah, he is, and he's capable of causing an upset any day. He won race 2 here last year, which was a 2-part race because of some crazy weather and heavy rain that forced the riders to come in and change to a wet race format.
And alongside them, we're now on to the second row of the Astra Honda of Irfan Ardiansha. Bag number 16, Aslan Shah Kamruzaman. You know what? I didn't see him on the grid. He hasn't missed out, has he, Aslan Shah? No, he's there. He's there.
Yeah.
So we've just missed one out on ours. So that's Irfan Ardiansha. Here's Aslan Shah Kamruzaman. That's better. Don't scare us like that, boys, because Aslan Shah, of anyone who can take advantage of Anthony West's absence today, it's Aslan Shah. 50 points for him, and he gets him to within a couple of points of West.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't rule out Aslan. He's a clever, canny former champion. Well, he's the defending champion, in fact. He knows what he has to do, and he's very economical with his effort. He'll put some in today.
One of my favorite competitors, Tomoyoshi Kayama. The shadow, we call him, because he's always there or thereabouts, is the veteran Japanese. And then the youngster, Tiger Harder, who's making a name for himself, Tiger. 19 years of age now. He's been on this circuit since the age of 15, winning hearts and really impressing us all. But it hasn't quite worked out for him as maybe he would have hoped for this season.
Not such a good season. He was 3rd in race 1 here last year, and qualified 2nd, in fact, so he's capable of going very well.
Did pick up podium finishers, 3rd place finishers in both races in India, so maybe a return to form for Tiger Harder. Going further down, there's 20 riders will be on the grid. Anthony West's replacement is Sheridan Morais from South Africa. Looking forward to seeing him. I've never seen him live. As we go a little bit further down, this is...
Yeah, Zulfami. He's making an one-off appearance, I think, this time as a replacement rider. But you mentioned Sheridan Morais there, Des. He was 4th in the World Supersport Championship last year. This is his Sentul debut, and you can expect a rider of his quality to improve through the weekend.
This will be interesting for him. He'll come to Sentul and wonder, well, what's this all about?
Well, I tell you something, when the crowds come here tomorrow and those grandstands are packed, he really will wonder. Because the Sunday crowds here are like quite like nothing else on the planet.
Kazma Daniel is another to look out for, bike number 127. As the riders are given the instructions to start their engines, we will have a formation lap as the grid is cleared. How do you see this one going? Because the season has all been about Anthony West, but for various reasons, he's not here. He won 5 of the 6 races, had a podium in the other, 136 points, leading the championship by a mile. Temporarily suspended for this race. We're not sure whether he'll be back for Buriram. How do you see this one going? Aslan Shah taking the opportunity?
Aslan Shah will be intending to take the opportunity. He hasn't quite shown yet what he can do here. I would like to see him show his quality again, because he is a tough campaigner. He's an experienced rider who knows when to apply the effort.
Let's talk you through the runners and riders. Andy Farid Itzahar, first time on pole. Ahmad Yudhistira, Zakwan Zaidi on the front row. Ratapong, Deja Kreishardt, Aslan Shah, Kamrazaman on the second. Urban Ardiansha, Astra Honda Racing, alongside Koyama from Musashi Bunsu Honda, and Tiger Harder on the Idemitsu Honda, completing the first 3 rows of the grid. We move a little bit further down into row 4, 5 and 6. Row 4 will be Kevin Kubo from the Yamaha racing team. We'll coordinate ourselves in a moment. There we go. Row 4 is Kenneth Kubo from the Yamaha racing team. Azroy Hakim Anwar from Malaysia, from Musashi Bunsu Honda. Kaisuke Kurihara, my first look at him on the AP Honda. In 13, disappointing Kazma Daniel came off yesterday. Sheridan Morais and Ramdan Rosley. That's a very, very healthy looking row 5. On to row 6, Pasawit, Muzakir Mohammed, Amrul Hafiq. And then a little bit further down, we've got Liam McDonald, the first New Zealander I can remember appearing on the Idemitsu Asia Road Racing Championship. And Mohammed Zulfami Khairuddin from ZK Racing Kawasaki.
Yeah, you made a good point there, Des, about row 5. There's a lot of good underperforming so far this weekend quality there in Kazma Daniel, Sheridan Morais and Ramdan Rosley. The temperature out there now, I notice, is 34 degrees, the air temperature. The track temperature is 52, and we're just looking at the, we just had the tyre allocations here, and it's pretty much universally hard front, soft rear. The only exception's been a couple of Yamahas of Kazma Daniel and Sheridan Morais, which is interesting, and Ramdan Rosley, so only Yamahas going against that.
16 laps of the track. Worth keeping an eye out on. Aslan Shah Kamrazaman starting in P6. He'll be on the left of the grid as we look in the green livery. If he can get a good start, you never know, it could be a big turning point in this championship.
Well, he's certainly capable of it, as is the man alongside him, Deja Kreishardt, who I believe is fully fit now.
And we are up and running. It's a good start for Ahmad Yudhistira. Aslan Shah Kamrazaman's also made a move on Zakwan Zaidi, but it's Yudhistira who leads. Zakwan Zaidi goes into second. Farid Itzahar was on pole, immediately relegated into third. And Aslan Shah Kamrazaman, he tried his best to get up into fourth, but has been blocked off by Deja Kreishardt.
Yeah, not such a good start for him, but a brilliant start by his teammate from the middle of the front row. Yudhistira, in fact, scored 2 second places here last year. And look at him go off the start. Had a little look behind him. It was a bit early to do that.
Had a couple of podiums himself in Suzuka, did Yudhistira.
Yes, he did. He's shown more consistency this season, particularly the latter half.
And Zakwan Zaidi up into second place. Again, this is an opportunity to make a statement for Zakwan Zaidi. no west means there is an opportunity. But it's Amadou Destira leading the way, Zakwan second, and Aslan Shah Kamruzaman has not actually got into 5th place as he hoped. He's actually dropped down to 7th, so it's a poor start for the defending champion. There he is, Aslan Shah Kamruzaman. We're only on lap number 1, but already a problem for the defending champion because he's going backwards as
he's getting dropped by that front group, which is disappointing because at the other end, Amadou Destira is looking quite comfortable on this first lap.
16 laps it will be. It's Udestira ahead of Zakwan. Andy Farid Zahar. Ratapong has made his way up into 4th place. Tiger Harder got himself up to 5th. Deicha Kreisart 6th. Aslan Shah Kamruzaman in 7th. Koyama in 9th. Irfan Ardianta down in 10th place. Kazma Daniels got himself up to 11th.
Yep, Ratapong Wilrot showing no signs now he's actually riding the bike of that left shoulder dislocation he suffered yesterday. Hopefully he'll be able to hold it together literally for the rest of
because
the 15 laps.
If it pops in and out, that is a very, very painful injury. And it did look like one of those that it was being dragged. But look at this lead from Amadou Destira. Zakwan has been overtaken by Andy Farid Idzahar. So maybe that poor start was just a false thinking on Andy Farid Idzahar, and Zakwan is dropped into 3rd.
Yep, Andy Farid. Be good to see him put a good race together. He made a very good point about time management as well in these hot conditions, and saying track temperature 52 degrees. That will mean in the second half of the race that the more experienced riders, the more clever riders will be able to manage the tyre wear better and come through, and it will probably change the complexion of this race.
Through lap number 2, it is Amadou Destira on the Kawasaki, leads from Andy Farid, Zakwan Zaidi, Ratapong, Tiger Harder, who we've hardly mentioned, Deicha Kreisart 6th, Aslan Shah 7th, Koyama's moved up into 8th place, Irfan Ardianta still in 10th, Kazma Daniel 11th. Zulfami, great start from him. Zulfami from 20th has got himself up into a top 15 place.
Yeah, going well after starting on a bike that he's not really used to. Also mention Azroy Anouar, who leapfrogged into the 600 class this year from Underbones last year. He's done very well on the Musashi Bunsu Honda. He's running in 9th place currently behind his teammate Tomoyoshi Koyama.
Idemitsu Asia Road Racing Championships from Indonesia. We have a casualty.
Looks like Kemin Kubo down there.
Kemin Kubo, who had started off in outside of the... Where was Kemin?
Row 4.
He was row 4, so he's dropped down. Interested to see if Sheridan Morais has been able to make any kind of impact. And the answer is no. In fact, Morais is going backwards as Kazma Daniel is going forwards. Very fascinating for the South African.
It's not the first time we've seen a World Supersport race winner get a wake-up call when they come into this championship.
Ratapong, he's had a decent start. He's got himself up into the top 4. He's the one leading behind the race behind Zakwan Zaidi. But look at the lead that Amadou Destira has been able to pull out already. For Udestira, regularly in amongst the contenders without very often getting the big prize, Amadou Destira.
Yeah, he's got a little bit extra, I think, in the last few races. We saw it at Suzuka, as you mentioned, Des. But he looks pretty comfortable at the front there, and he seems to be carrying like a little bit of inspiration with him. The helmet's working well for him.
Maybe it is. It's a lovely story. Family on the helmet as we look at Aslan Shah Kamruzaman, his Kawasaki teammate, who's struggling a little bit. Zakwan Zaidi, the front 3 have opened a bit of time and space. Tiger Harder starting 9th. He's got himself up into a comfortable 5th place. I do like this 19-year-old kid, Tiger Harder. Aslan Shah, a little bit of a wobble as he goes into the chicane.
Yeah, it could be that he's having set-up problems with that Kawasaki. He has off and on this season at various circuits. Looked like he's struggling with setup. He's now got who's that behind him? Looks like Irfan Ardianta behind him.
Indeed, Irfan's got himself ahead of the shadow, Koyama. And Koyama himself is under pressure from Kazma Daniel.
Yeah, Casper Daniel, one of the new crop of riders coming into ARC Supersport this season, who's been going very well. He got a podium, if I remember correctly, in Australia.
Through lap 3, we have got Yudhishthira, Andy Farad, Idzahar ahead of Zakwan Zaidi, Ratapong, Tiger Harder, Deicha Kreisar, the former champion. It's not a look of ease there on the face of Musashi Bunsu Honda.
Yeah, in fact, yeah, I think that was the Astra Honda boss. I think you can see why Astra Honda do so well. Second place is just not good enough.
So Andy Farid, after a poor start, he was the pole sitter. He's now got himself back into second place, and they're beginning to drop Zakwan Zaidi.
Yeah, he has been going well, and that's Kemen Kubo just parked his bike, so no great damage to his bike or to himself, which is good news.
Now then, has Aslan Shah Kamuzaman lost a place? I think he has, you know. I think Irfan Adyansha has got ahead of Aslan Shah.
Yeah, I think that puts Aslan back to 8th position now. And looking at the front,
Yudhishthira leading from Andy Farid.
Yeah, who's got closer.
And Zakwan's going behind, further back. Andy Farid, average speed 158.565 in qualifying yesterday. First time he's ever been on pole at the Asia Road Racing Championships. As they go through the straight, disappointed Kenneth. Doesn't matter. Even if you're not one of the contenders, Kubo shows the disappointment of going out early, Barry Russell.
Yeah, he is capable of being a contender. He believes in himself a bit more now. He went very well in Suzuka, and that jacked up his confidence. He then went on to the Valentino Rossi VR6 Master Camp. He was one of the top riders there. Andy Farid was getting back on terms with race leader Yudhishthira, but he tried another line and had to wobble a few corners back, and he's lost a bit of ground on him again.
Good work by the camera guys. Lovely soft focus, bringing Ahmed Yudhishthira into the centre of the screen. Andy Farid keeping him very much in his focal point as well. And Zakwan Zaidi, is he losing ground? Is Zakwan going backwards and Ratapong closing up on Zakwan? As you say, race management in these kind of heat conditions is a problem, but that is Ratapong very definitely closing on the Honda of Zakwan Zaidi.
Yeah, brave ride from him. He's got a good pedigree, of course. His father was a champion, and I think he was a Macau GP race winner. His brother, of course, for some 8 years was in 250 GPs and then Moto 2s. So he's made of strong stuff.
Going through the line as Fujihara looks on. He's a coach these days. How we miss him on the track, but his charges are doing well. Yudhishthira, though, is beginning to feel just a little bit of pressure. 16-lap race, going just a little bit wide there, Yudhishthira. And Andy Farid Idzahar looks to be very comfortable in second place. Right on the shoulder, very often that's the place that you'd like to be 6 laps into a race, Barry.
Yeah, and I think you'd expect the Honda to be slightly easier on tyres than the Kawasaki. Andy Farid, maybe he saw that look from his boss over the pit wall a couple of laps back, and has got a bit of a hurry-up on.
Was that Ahmed Yudhishthira saying, come on, you take the lead, share the workload? It's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. He's going to try and hold that all the way through to the end.
So what wear and tear are we going to get on the rear wheels? As you said, they're all on soft compounds, the leading racers. When should they begin to be a little bit worried about it?
I think in they're probably starting to feel it now. Certainly within the next 2 laps, we'll see some difference. If anybody could benefit from it, it could be Zakwan Zaidi. With his skill and experience and his smooth riding style, it could play into his hands. That's just speculation at this point, as he's a little way adrift in 3rd place, and with a safe distance between him and Ratapong in 4th place.
At the end of lap 7, there'll be 9 laps to go after this, approaching the halfway. Zakwan will be in 3rd place. Yudhishthira leads the way. Andy Farid Idzahar 2nd, Ratapong 4th, Deicha 5th, Tiger Harder dropped down to 6th. Irfan 7th. Aslan Shah 8th. So Aslan going backwards rather than putting pressure on the leader, Anthony West, who, reminder, is not racing today.
Yeah, indeed. Aslan missed an opportunity in Australia as well when West was absent on World Supersport duty and didn't pull in the results that that he really should have pushed himself to do. But there's quite a tight battle there between Desha, Tiger Harder and Irfan for 5th position. Be nice to have another look at that a little bit later on.
Well, a little bit spread out, slight little wobble on the front wheel from Andy Farid. You see them going over 1 or 2 little bumpy parts on the track there. It does mean concentration's got to be absolutely pinpoint every second that they're going around this central circuit.
Accuracy is definitely the key, as is just to an extent ignoring the bumps and just riding over them, because they'll mess with your head if you let them. Best thing is just to ride over them and let the bike take you.
We're at the halfway point. It is Ahmed Yudhistira who's been leading since the first lap, ahead of Andy Farid Idzahar. Zakwan under increasing pressure from Ratapong Willerot, and Deicha Kreisart has dropped there. Irfan Ardiansa, he's making his way through the pack. Irfan. And Aslan Shah Kamruzama, he's now facing pressure from the shadow, Koyama.
Yeah, Koyama, another rider, of course, who could come good in this second half of the race that we're into now.
In the overall championship standings, West, an absentee, has 136 points. Aslan Shah, 85. Ito, another absentee here, 76. Koyama, 66. Zakwan, 65. Ratapong, 64. Kubo, who's out, 63. Ahmed Yudhistira, 59. It's incredibly tight. Even if West is too far away, there's plenty to ride for.
Yeah, you can see that the shape of the championship positions changing because of those absences and because of these particular performances we're looking at right now.
We're looking at Aslan Shah Kamruzama on the green Kawasaki. There's a bit of distance between Irfan Ardiansa, who has worked his way beautifully through the pack. Irfan Ardiansa.
Yep, another young rider coming very good from the Astra Honda stable. They do know how to produce quick riders. So Irfan and Andy Farid were in 250s last year.
Lapping at just outside the 130.49 mark. 3rd place, wow, we've got a problem here. Ratapong has taken Zakwan. We've got a problem, Zakwan's got a problem. Ratapong has just ridden a really consistent race and makes his move. Is this maybe too early to make that move?
He felt it was time to go, and look, he's already put some distance between himself. He obviously realised he had more pace than Zakwan, so he's making the most of it.
We've got a man down.
One of the Hongleong Yamahas.
That's Rosley, Ramdan Rosley, who was on the 5th row of the grid with Kazma Daniel and Sheridan Morais. He is down, so that's 2 non-finishers that we'll definitely have down at the tail end. Morais still hasn't been able to make much of an impact. He's up to 15th now. Deicha Kreisart has dropped down dramatically into 14th place.
Yeah, must be a problem for him. He's one of the experienced riders you'd expect to benefit from tyre wear in the later part of the race. 2 times champion, of course, in this class.
Andy Farid 2nd, Ratapong 3rd, Zakwan 4th. Leg down for Irfan Ardiansa, who's overtaken Tiger Hard into 5th. This is Aslan Shah Kamruzama, 7th at the moment. There's a big gap. It's, if we look at it now, 6 seconds plus between the first 2 and the following pack, and Zakwan. Oh, Zakwan's got in ahead of Ratapong. Now, either that was an error going wide from Ratapong or a problem.
Yeah, Ratapong got wide. He hit some bumps and got right out of shape, and that's all the opportunity that Zakwan needed to retake 3rd position.
After all that work from Ratapong to reel in Zakwan's ID. Now there's pressure from Andy Farid Idzaha. He's looking literally at the family of Amadou Destira's helmet.
Yes, he is.
He's getting closer, Andy Farid, and looks comfortable close. I'm wondering if there's going to be a little look back there from Amadou Destira. The answer's no, focused on what's ahead, not on what's behind. It's a mind game when you've got somebody right on your tail like that, Barry.
Yes, it is. He's got his mind well and truly on the win. Andy Farid has got his mind well and truly on showing Destira the back of his helmet.
A little bit of slide there on the rear wheel of Destira, but he will still be leading as they go through the Idemitsu corner and across the start-finishing line.
Andy Farid.
7 laps to go. Kazma Daniel is out.
That's both Hongnong and Yamaha's out now. Both in crashes. Disappointing for them.
You could see the frustration. And Destira can feel the gaze of Andy Farid Idzaha.
He definitely can, and I do think that the Honda's probably going to be ahead on in terms of tyre wear.
Hasn't worked as hard, has he? As they
No.
go around the fourth corner, the Dunlop corner on the far extremities. Andy Farid again has a look, slightly different line. They whiplash through that corner. That's the fastest part of the track. And again, some slide there from Amadou Destira.
Yeah, Andy Farid believes he can win now. Just looking at his body language on the bike, how he's looking up the inside of Destira. He's now expecting himself to win. Got the yellow flags out there. I assume that's for Kazma Daniel's crash.
Liam McDonald's got himself into the top 15, the first Kiwi we've had in the Asia Road Racing Championships. Here's the Zakwan moment as Ratapong does indeed go wide and has a little moment, Barry.
Yeah, plenty of disturbance for that dislocated left shoulder of his as well.
Yeah, you forget about that, don't you? As still the pressure is on Amadou Destira, but still Amadou Destira leads the way as they come down the long straight once again into the right-hand corner. It's a 7.5 second gap. Zakwan Zaidi still in third place, but let's focus on P1 just for a moment, Barry. And when do you think Andy Farid will make his move?
I think he's going to answer that question for me.
Indeed, he goes on the inside. Andy Farid Idzaha takes the lead for the first time.
Yeah, and he made it stick. Let's see what Destira's got by way of reply. But there's an immediate couple of bike lengths that Andy Farid's pulled out.
Well, Amadou Destira has led from the first corner to now. Andy Farid, after a poor start, has been looking at the helmet and the back wheel of Amadou Destira, but now he's taken the lead, and you suspect that bar a catastrophe from him, Astra Honda Racing Team are going to get maximum points from Andy Farid Idzaha.
Yeah. Well, we'll see in the next half a lap whether Destira's got enough left to challenge to take the lead back.
Another casualty, 4 have gone out. Here's the end of Kazma Daniel, and just loses the front end.
Yeah, no big damage there, except to his hopes.
Destira, in the meantime, has taken the lead. I do apologise, Amadou Destira. I wrote you off for the 155th time this season. I am wrong. Destira leads the way. Plenty to go now. That'll give Andy Farid something to think about. Andy Farid has a look on the inside. Destira closes the gap.
Yep, they both think they can win, so this is going to be a very interesting 2.5 laps.
As they go into the corner 4, the Dunlop corner, into a long straight, they'll whiplash left. They're leaving the people behind them a long way behind. Zakwan Zaidi third. Irfan Ardiance has got himself up to 4th, ahead of Ratapong and Tiger Harder in 6th. Koyama's ahead of Aslan Shah, who's in 8th.
Yeah, Andy Farid pushing really hard there. His bike's moving around more than you'd expect a sweet handling Honda at this point.
Is this wear and tear on the rear wheels? Is this coming into play now?
I'm sure it is, yeah.
Amadou De Steyra on the Kawasaki Manual Tech KYT racing team. Temporarily pushed out of first place, but now with 2.5 laps to go, a bit less, the 2 right-hand corners. Andy Farid has a look on the inside, but it's Amadou De Steyra who will lead with 2 laps to go. Good stuff.
Yeah, the boss believes it too, that Andy Farid can get past the Kawasaki. Uses a lot of back brake as he slithers into that right-hand turn 1. Will they line it up for that, for the really fast turn 2?
Izdihar right on the tail once again. We've already seen him able to take on this straight. Not on this occasion. Big wobble from Amadou De Steyra. Andy Farid piles on the pressure. Amadou De Steyra for now resists.
Yeah, that was a really good drive that the Honda got out from turn 2. And that little mistake by De Steyra led him right back behind.
Big slide from Andy Farid. The chicane safely negotiated.
Yeah, that was a very clever entry to the chicane. Got the bike straightened out and fired it through. He got once again within striking range of the lead.
As they come once again, sharp right, sharp left. Andy Farid literally on the tail as they come onto the Vupi corner. This is an opportunity. He looks on the inside again, enough from Amadou De Steyra. The 2 local boys are putting on a race to remember here. Race 1 of the Idemitsu Asia Road Racing Championships, round 5 from Sentul in Indonesia.
Brilliant, classy rides from both. Fujiwara waves his man on.
And De Steyra onto the last lap, has the lead. He's only been temporarily displaced. Andy Farid has a look on the inside, has a look on the outside. De Steyra closes the gap once again.
Andy Farid's a brave rider. He will try to retake the lead. No question about that.
He certainly got the fastest bike in pole yesterday, but Amadou De Steyra, after a great start, started from 2nd in the grid, is leading. Dunlop corner, corner number 4, whiplash coming. Straight line speed is perhaps where Astra Honda have the advantage.
Yeah, that Kawasaki is quick in there. Andy Farid is getting really good drive out of the corners on that Honda.
Great stuff, corners 6 and 7, we're more than halfway through. It's been a battle royale, the first nervy look behind. Amadou De Steyra, Andy Farid looks on the inside, De Steyra closes the door. De Steyra closes, this time Farid goes on the inside. Andy Farid leads, De Steyra, can he respond? They come into the final 2 corners, Andy Farid, Izdihar. Fabulous movement from him. De Steyra, last chance to get on the inside. Andy Farid times it to perfection, accelerates away, and Andy Farid Izdihar, he had the pole, he waited to the last lap, and he takes it by a wheel.
That was not even a wheel, that was a tyre.
Fabulous racing behind them. Zakwan Zaidi ahead of Irfan Ardianshah, Ratapong, Tiger Harder will come in 6th, Koyama 7th, Aslan Shah Kamruzaman, a frustrating and disappointing 8th for him. But what a race, what a final lap for Andy Farid Izdihar.
That was a really clever final lap by him. We've seen him a bit fiery before, but now he's taken his first Asia Road Racing Championship victory.
Wow, what a way to do it as well. He'd shown that he did have the ability to take Amadou De Steyra. Amadou De Steyra did brilliantly to knock him back. As we look a little bit further down, we've still got finishers. That's Liam McDonald finishing in 14th, ahead of Amrul Hazik Azmi. But Indonesia flags are waving high today. And a thrilling finale to this Supersport 600 race. And a confident walk into the pits for the Astra Honda Racing Team boss.
Yeah, great for the fans to see a real battle between 2 riders from different teams, different bike manufacturers, and they both put it all down there. They left nothing back in the garage at all. Delighted Astra Honda team there.
Exactly as we planned, he says. Exactly as we planned.
It was that look I gave him at mid-race. That was what did it.
Wow, what a relief. But Andy Farid, Idzaha, first victory of the season. Here's the confirmed results. Idzaha with the 25 points ahead of Yudhishthira. A brilliant ride from Yudhishthira. Zakwan Zaidi, useful 16 for him. Irfan Ardiansar from 9th to 4th. Ratapong 5th. Tiger Harder 6th. Koyama, as always, in the points with 7. Aslan Shah, how much damage will that do for him? In 8th place. Further down, Deicha Kreisart, 12th. Liam McDonald from New Zealand, a good 14th for him. Sheridan Morais, welcome to the Asia Road Racing Championships from South Africa. Kazma Daniel, he was a DNF, as was Randon Rosley, as was Keminth Kubo. Fabulous way to end our Saturday coverage. We've got highlights, we've got interviews, and we've got the podium, but we've had a wonderful final lap. Don't forget, we will continue tomorrow, where we will have race 2 here from Sentul. What we're going to do now, before we get the podium and the highlights, we're going to go for a quick commercial break. You are watching a thrilling Idemitsu Asia Road Racing Championships. The Idemitsu Road Racing Championship is coming to you from Sentul in Indonesia. We've just seen a thrilling Super Sport 600cc, in which the race was won just 3 corners from home, and the winner was Andy Farid Idzaha. We will go down to the Parc Ferme, where our intrepid reporter Wheeling is hopefully talking to the top 3, Andy Farid, Ahmed Yudhishthira, and first, Zakwan Zaidi.
Down here at the Parc Ferme with Zakwan Zaidi, who today finished 3rd. So Zakwan, when I spoke to you on the grid, you said your focus was finishing on the podium, and you did exactly that today.
Yeah, firstly, syukur alhamdulillah that I get podium today. But yeah, it's my target is podium because I many times to ride to All Japan, and here I didn't expect that I can target the overall. But now I just make myself confident to target on podium. It's good for me. But yeah, also team also want to win. But for sure, for the next race, I try my best for win. And firstly, I want to thanks to all my team, also my sponsor, also my fans, my friend, my family, and syukur alhamdulillah, I get podium today. Thank you.
You had a slight gap from both the top riders, Yudis and also Andy. Was it something wrong with your machine, or is it just very tough to catch up with both the local riders?
Actually, yeah, very tough because in the starting, it's coming hot. I mean, temperature too hot than after the race, and I struggle a lot in the beginning until I try to catch front group, but definitely impossible because I always on the limit and also almost low side, and I try to play safe and collect the point, and for sure next race I want to try more.
All right, thank you so much, Zakwan. We'll see you on the podium. And coming in second place today, Ahmad Yudhistira. Yudis, a fantastic start from you, and you led almost the entire race. Share with us what happened during the final lap.
Yeah, I'm doing a good start in the race one. This is first time I doing best start, I think, and then I try keep concentration lap by lap until last lap, but I know Gilang already behind of me. Then I also know Gilang take a relax behind of me until last lap. Maybe he will have a strategy for the last lap. Then I also already keep push too much last 5 lap, but the tire already come to the slide, start to spinning also in the last corner. And Galang in here is very strong compared to me, and he also have many testing in Sentul before this round. That's why he's stronger in race one. Maybe I will little bit adjustment for race 2 tomorrow, and I will take a win for tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Yudis. We'll see you on the podium. And the man who is picking up his very first win in the Super Sport 600cc today, Andy Farid Istiha. Andy, a lot of record-making time for you today. First, you had your first pole position, and now you're picking up your very first win. You were shadowing Yudis throughout the race until the very last lap. Was that part of your race strategy?
Yeah, normally I want to attack in the middle of the race in the last 8-7 laps, but I try little bit difficult because Kawasaki bike very fast on the straight, but I managed in the corner, and in the end I check where is the key point for overtaking, and yeah, I attack in the last 3 laps, and finally I can overtake him in the last lap. So this win yeah, I'm very happy for this first victory, and I will keep motivation and keep pushing for tomorrow race too.
All right, thank you so much, Andy. Congratulations, and we'll see all riders on the podium shortly.
Good interviews, Hui Ling. Thank you very much for your work down on pit lane today. We'll be calling on you again tomorrow. 0.029 of the second was the difference between first and second Andy Farid Izaha and Ahmad Yudhistira. Here are the highlights of an excellent Supersport 600cc. And Barry Russell alongside me in the Comtrox. And Barry, a brilliant start from Ahmad Yudhistira, and that started a thrilling race.
It did, and it gave him the belief that he could hold on to that first place. Andy Farid gave him a bit of a free pass at the start, but he made it up slowly. The disappointment of the race was Aslan Shah, who wasn't able to stay with the leading group and slipped back. But this was what kept us entertained. You see one of a few moments that Andy Farid had going into that corner. Any slight mistake there, and whoever's following you is going to be through.
Both riders, in fact, nearly all the leading riders deciding to go on a soft compound rear tyre. And that did seem to cause 1 or 2 slight moments, even from as early as the 5th or 6th lap. Back wheels sliding away.
Yeah, it's something that the riders, particularly in the intermediate size classes like the 600s, they like to use the back brake to slide the bike into the corners and line it up for like a fast firing, catapulting out of the exit. And there you see that mistake by Ratapong that finished his chances of claiming third spot on the podium.
He actually dropped down to fifth, and Zakwan Zaidi never lost this third place that he had. But in the meantime, what a battle we were having between Yudhishthira in the Kawasaki green and Andy Farid Izdaha on the Astra Honda Racing. And for a long time, it was just shadow by Andy Farid. Zakwan carries on into third place. Then suddenly Andy Farid takes the lead. I thought, you corrected me, I thought he'd go away and take it quite comfortably from here.
Yeah, but Yudis had a lot of belief there that he could take it, a huge amount of desire, and I think it's often that that last 0.5%, as we see Casper Daniel low siding off there.
Yeah, there's always disappointment while we talk about the winners. So this is him. While we were watching Casper Daniel go off, he got back in the lead, Ahmed Yudhishthira.
Yeah, so that shows what the confidence that he's carrying now after a good season and a good few finishes.
And then we stayed with it. This is the final lap. This is 3 corners from home. And this is where Andy Farid Izdaha just timed it absolutely to perfection, because there's just no chance, no time for Ahmed Yudhishthira to get that back.
No, but as Andy Farid himself mentioned, the power of the Kawasaki, we saw that as they went along to the finish line. And it was about the width of a wheel rim, that 0.02, whatever it was.
Brilliant race. First victory for Andy Farid Izdaha. What we will do now is we will go down to the podium and enjoy another Indonesian celebration.
Muhammad Zakwan Zaidi from Malaysia dengan timnya Musashi Bonshu Honda Racing.
Coming in second place today, Ahmad Yudhishthira from Manual Tech KYT Kawasaki Racing.
Terbaik kedua kita adalah Ahmad Yudhishthira dari Indonesia dengan timnya Manual Tech KYT Kawasaki Racing.
And today's Super Sport 600cc race, one winner picking up his first win this year is Andy Farid Izdaha from Astra Honda Racing Team.
Dan inilah dia terbaik pertama dari Super Sport 600cc, Andy Farid Izdaha from Indonesia dengan timnya Astra Honda Racing Team.
We'd also like to invite the team manager of Astra Honda Racing Team to join the riders on the podium.
Dipersilakan perwakilan tim dari Astra Honda Racing Team boleh bergabung.
We
Indonesian
will now
national
stand
anthem.
for the national anthem of Indonesia.
Silakan berdiri, kita akan mendengarkan lagu Indonesia Raya. Tepuk tangan yang meriah untuk juara-juara kita.
We'd now like to invite Mr. Teiji Okamoto,
So then,
the
let's
Managing
get
Director of Idemitsu
the
Loop
prizes
Asia
handed
Pacific,
out.
to present the riders with
Teiji
the trophy.
Okamoto is the
Menyerahkan
Managing
piala
Director
kemenangannya itu
of
adalah Mr.
Idemitsu
Teiji
Loop Asia
Okamoto
Pacific,
sebagai Managing
who
Director
thrilled to
for
say are the
Idemitsu
sponsors
Loop
for
Asia
this particular
Pacific.
ARRC event.
Third place today from Malaysia, Muhammad Zakwan Zaidi.
Terbaik ketiga, silakan berikan tepuk tangan yang meriah,
A
Muhammad
useful
Zakwan
16
Zaidi.
points for Zakwan to take him on to 81 points overall.
Second place today from Indonesia, Ahmad Yudhishthira.
Dari Indonesia terbaik kedua adalah Ahmad Yudhistira.
Yudhistira, 20 points for him.
Super Sport 600cc race
Moves him on to 79 points.
Indonesia, Andi Farid Istihar.
And
Baik, pertama Super Sport 600 cc.
moves up on to
Andi Farid
69 points as a
Istihar.
result. And we'll see what that does to the overall tables in just a short while.
Astra Honda Racing Team.
Tim terbaik untuk race pertama di hari Sabtu ini dari Super Sport yaitu adalah
Thanks to
Astra
Cheiji Okamoto
Honda
from
Racing Team.
Idemitsu.
Kami ucapkan
Not only
selamat.
for handing out the prizes, but also for believing in the Asia Road Racing Championships with the sponsorship. And confirmation of Andi Farid, Ahmed Yudhistira, a race to remember. And Zakwan Zaidi, you never know, that could be a very, very important 16 points with more to come tomorrow in the overall championship standings.
Yeah, you know what, Des, we're so used to talking about the quality of Astra Honda. That is, in fact, their first win of the season, their first podium of the season, as well as their first pole position of the season. And the reason for that is that they brought these two really strong young riders into the team, and they believed in them, they supported them, they've given them the best possible machinery and support, and these are the results. And that's why Astra Honda is able to sustain this kind of success.
Let's have a look at the overall championship standings. Ange West, an absentee here today, still leads the championship standings. 43 points clear of Aslan Shah, Kamru Zaman. But Aslan Shah's under pressure from Zakwan and Ahmad Yudhistira and Yuki Ito. Another absentee today. Ratapong and Koyama. Look how close that is. 81, 79, 76, 75. Andi Farid on 74. So the race for second place, even if West is too far away, is well and truly on. Data Kreisart in 11th. Kazma Daniel, a disappointment for him. He's 100 points off the lead. A little bit further down. Well, it's Indonesian's Irfan Ardiansyah, who had his best result of the season today, moves up onto 26 points overall, just outside the top 16. Well, that's our coverage from today. Don't forget, we will join you tomorrow, 1 o'clock local time. That's 2 o'clock Hong Kong time, where we've got the Underbone 150cc race number 2. We've got the Asia Production 250cc second race, and we've got a finale to the Super Sport 600. You've been watching the Idemitsu Asia Road Racing Championships from the Central International Circuit. From Barry Russell, myself, Des Corkill, and the team, the many team behind the scenes, particularly the cameramen, the sound guys who are bringing you this entertainment. We'll see you tomorrow, 1 o'clock local time.